injured in an accident, one thing leads to another. Your injury leads to treatment. Treatment leads to hospital bills. Bills lead to debt. Debt leads to stress. The advocates can help relieve that stress. Having an advocate attorney on your side leads to faster resolutions, fair outcomes, and a peaceful recovery for you. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show. Wait, turn the music off. A day of depression and misery reigns supreme here on the Marty program. That's because we're Cubs fans here, or at least I am, or was. Because the Cubs took my money and did absolutely nothing with it. And
do you take it personally as a season ticket holder?
I do. I feel as though I have been rectally damaged.
2 days in a row, then.
By Jed Hoyer.
Right.
But Michael Soraka, so such as and stuff. What do you want me to say? What am I supposed to do here? The answer is I don't know. I have no idea. I have no earthly idea what Jed Hoyer and the Cubs are doing on MLB Deadline Day. We'll have all of that covered for you. Trade deadline in Major League Baseball is 56 minutes away from the Cubs floundering again. And if they do make a trade, I don't care if they get Ken Griffey Jr. in his prime. It won't be good enough. I'll complain anyway.
Yeah.
I am so... You guys want to know what kind of mental midget I am? I am so upset. I am so upset about the Cubs. I'm literally in a terrible mood. Right? If you look at the contenders if we talk about the best teams in baseball right now, Toronto made great moves. The Yankees have made moves. Yeah, the Tigers didn't really do anything, but they didn't need to. They're going to win their division because Cleveland and the scumbag Kansas City Royals, nobody in that division. So adding Chris Paddock, they did absolutely nothing. They've done nothing. The Houston Astros completely transformed their roster today. Carlos Correa, completely made over their roster today. The New York Mets absolutely have made significant deals. The San Diego Padres dominated the deadline today. It's probably the Padres and then everybody else, but the Astros are a close second. All the contenders made moves. Except the Chicago Cubs, who have done nothing. Eugenio Suarez? No, he's in Seattle. Right? I mean, the Cubs have done absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it is just infuriating to me.
Sitting on their hands, dude.
And I don't understand it. I look at the deals. I look at the deals that have been made today. And I am okay, the Padres, let's go. Awesome. Great deals. I'm actually happy for Padre fans who never win anything. A week ago, they were trying to trade Manny Machado to the Cubs, and the Cubs are like, no, we're going to wait. And now the LA Dodgers have gone out and gotten Alex Call from the Washington Nationals in what is a really good move. That is a really good move. The Padres get Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano from Baltimore about 20 minutes ago. Huge move. The Astros get Carlos Correa and Jesus Sanchez. Two huge moves for them. And they are supposedly close on Dylan Cease in Houston. I mean, it's ridiculous to me.
Doing what they should be doing.
Yeah. The Rangers get Colombe, which is a really nice pickup for them. And yet the Chicago Cubs, who have more money than any other team short of the LA Dodgers, have done nothing. They've done nothing. Yet the Padres, O'Hearn, Laureano, JP Sears, you know, and we're still 53 minutes to go. Still 53 minutes to go. Like, and they're not done.
Can you honestly say you're surprised?
I'm really surprised the Cubs have done nothing. Nothing. Not a reliever. Michael Soroka, we'll see. No, ground ball pitcher, one of the best defenses in baseball, probably works out. That's not a top of the rotation guy. That's not James Steele. Like I am quite literally livid about the lack of movement that by the Chicago Cubs. I cannot understand it. I want to understand it. I do not understand it. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any good reason, other than obviously they don't want to spend.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I did. I wish I understood it. Eugenio Suarez to Seattle, great move for Seattle. Now, I mean, with what Houston did today, Seattle can kind of kiss their asses goodbye this year. But you look at what Houston did today with that's one. But then you look at what they did leading up. Adding Urias from the Orioles, fantastic. You look at the Mets getting Ryan Helsley, that's a huge move for them, right? That's a huge move. You look at Johan Duran going to the Phillies, huge move for a team that's loaded in pitching. That's a huge move. And you look at the Giants as seller, Tyler Rogers is a really nice move for the New York Mets. And you look at these moves up and down, even the Atlanta Braves getting Tyler Kinley from the Rockies. It's a really nice move. The Braves aren't going to win this year.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a move here where you're like, yeah, hey, wow, that's a great move for the Cubs, because that doesn't exist. And I just don't understand it. And you know what? I'm a sucker because I sit here every day thinking the Bears or the Cubs or Notre Dame, maybe one of the teams I give a rat's ass about,
Notre Dame, our mother,
will actually do something. And it never happens. And it is just so infuriating.
Yeah.
Because they never do anything. And you look at Alex Call, that's a move that helps the Dodgers significantly. They needed a left fielder, and they go and get it done. Shane Bieber going to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are exponentially better now. They're better. David Bednar going to the Yankees from the Pirates. The Yankees bullpen is better now. And I understand that these deals have been expensive. I mean, some of these deals have just been downright ridiculous.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the price you have to pay.
I just think that I don't have faith that they would have made deals. I don't have faith that a lot of teams would have made deals. And you said, before the show in the vaunted pre-show meeting behind the scenes secrecy that, if they do no deals, that they're not going to make the playoffs.
I don't believe they will.
And
you laughed at me.
Yeah. I think that it's, I feel like, yeah, there's a way they don't make the playoffs, obviously, and the teams around them got better. I agree with that. At the same time, though, it really, this team, without any addition, showed you they can beat really good teams, but they just simply haven't the last month, I would say.
Because they cannot get guys out.
Yeah.
They have, I don't know how many, I don't know that, I have no idea how many quality starters they have. I don't believe that they have many. I really don't. And I just look at what the standings look like right now. If you look at the Cubs in the Central, right? The Cubs are a game behind Milwaukee. Milwaukee today did nothing. They're standing pat. I think they know they're not a World Series contender. They're a game ahead of the Cubs in the Central. Okay, well, what about the wild card, right? Because that means the Cubs are in the wild card. Sure. They're 3.5 up on the San Diego Padres, who got significantly better today. Leaps and bounds better, like almost unthinkable that you could make the moves they've made. Now, they gave up every prospect they have, and my guess is that's why they're going to trade Dylan Cease, because you need to replenish. But the San Diego Padres today are a better team than the Chicago Cubs are, who a week ago were talking about trading everybody.
Right.
And now they flipped that script, and they have spent significant money. The San Diego Padres have spent significant money, and the Cubs have not. And they are 3 back. The Cincinnati Reds are 3 back. Now, are the Reds better than the Cubs? Probably not. But the Cubs are a massively flawed baseball team. You have guys at your corners who simply cannot hit consistently. You have a bullpen who does not get guys out. You have starting pitchers who go 4 innings and can't get guys out. You don't have an ace. As much as I love Shota Imanaga, you don't have an ace. I don't know what you're doing. I have no idea.
Well, you're being okay with losing. That's what you're doing. You're being okay with being a team that you can sell to the public as competitive. Hey,
apparently
we were right in the middle of the race, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out.
Yeah,
that's what this club does.
I think when you are in position to contend for a world championship, which they are, the Cubs, you have to make moves. This is a team who's not been a contender since 2017. They just haven't been a contender. And they went to the playoffs in 18. They went to the playoffs during COVID. And they were never close either one of those years. And you have spent no money. Kyle Tucker is still not under contract. Like, what are we doing?
They don't want to extend Kyle Tucker.
I mean, I can only imagine that.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that. I just...
But yeah, I look think it is frustrating. I get it. Yeah.
I look at teams like the Tigers, who made really mediocre moves by anybody's measure. The Tigers, you didn't change your fate at all. The Guardians gave stuff away. The White Sox, again, you're a bad team and you didn't trade Luis Robert yet. And you've got 45 minutes now to do that. Bad teams don't make deals on deadline day. They don't. It's in the baseball, Major League Baseball trade deadline is the best day of any trade deadline. But you look at every sport, whether it's the NFL, where there's almost no moves, although in recent years that's changed. You look at Major League Baseball, big moves by big contenders. The NBA, big moves by big contenders. The NHL, big moves by big contenders. You look at the signing windows. It is remarkable to me that you have a situation where the Cubs have done nothing, and it makes me crazy.
Yeah, and MLB Network is saying, oh well, the Reds are in contention, and the Brewers obviously, I just think that what's hard for Chicago sports fans is that none of our teams do anything. Like, they don't do anything. And frankly, it's like once every, I don't know, like maybe one to 3 seasons a decade to where you'll be competitive and in a position where you're 1 or 2 pieces away from competing. And I would say, honestly, like maybe once every 15 to 20 years, the club will do that. They'll actually spend, invest, and do what they need to do. If you really look at Chicago sports, and typically when they do invest, they'll ride that wave for like 3 to 4 seasons as much as they can. And then it's just a reset of the cycle. And so as a Chicago sports fan, you wind up only, experiencing a World Series or, a championship of whatever variety 1 to 3 times in your lifetime, I would say, because of those poor decisions. And I would agree. I don't want to hear from Jed when they don't do anything. I don't want to hear, oh, we tried and it was just too competitive. That's not good enough, bro.
Yeah, you're the Chicago Cubs. I don't want to hear your general manager telling me how much effort you made and the phone calls you did, and I didn't sleep and I was working hard, and you know what? We made our best effort. but we just didn't feel like the cost of acquiring a pitcher was worth what we would have to give up. We really like our young guys. You're the Chicago Cubs. The cost of getting the best available starting pitcher is the price of doing business. And the problem is the Cubs do not care to win a World Series. If it happens and they trip and fall into one, outstanding. But that's not happening. That is not happening. Texting with, and this is going to take us completely off the rails, because some news is coming in on the Mountain West departing schools have filed a status report today on exit fees. And I'm working to try and get some information about what that update is. That will be very interesting. It is, and I apologize, I'm texting in real time. I'm going to be very interested to see what these exiting members say in their status report.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to somebody who's trying to get the status report for us.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you can't tell me that these two tried mediation didn't work out. Now we're headed to a court date. And I just don't buy that, these status reports are going to show us some massive discount is happening. I mean, I don't know.
No, if that was the case, we'd be hearing about a settlement.
Yeah. And so that's why I say, like, I don't know. I'm not really sure, like, what, that's cool. You want to file status reports. I understand that's part of the process, but I just think that it is a situation where these two are at odds, and, the Pac-12 does not want to give in, and they believe in their legal position. And I'm just simply saying, what legal position is that, bro? Like, I don't know how you get around the contract you signed. How do you get around, the choices you made? And the thing is, we haven't been talking about it as much because nothing's really changed with
Nothing's happened since the 15th.
Yeah, these two have been trying to work something out, and it just hasn't worked out. So we're waiting for a court date.
And I think it's been very interesting to see how all of this continues to roll, and how all of this plays, because I do believe that when you look at these exit fees, I still maintain are not the most significant, but they are significant. The poaching fee case, I think, is much more significant. I think, obviously, the vitriol with the exiting members about Grand Canyon joining the league a year early, I think that's a very dicey situation. But I think ending this situation with the exit fees as soon as possible is incredibly important, because I just don't see, and again, it's been a week or so since I touched base with the people we talk to in the legal community, but nobody feels like the exiting members have an argument to win on these exit fees, which is why it's so surprising that there was no settlement reached in mediation. So I'm curious to see where that goes. I don't know. We'll find out. So stick around. We should have an update on that any minute. I've reached out to a couple of sources to see if we can get an update. We are following the MLB trade deadline today. Deadline is in 39 minutes. So we'll keep you up to date on that. And there is no question that the San Diego Padres and the Houston Astros have won today. There is no doubt about that. Today is also your final day to make donations, and we'd really like to end this strong, you guys. Let's get the donations rolling now. We will give away one $100 Amazon gift card to end the show to one of the people who donates. And whether it's $5, $25, $1 million, the memo section on Venmo is usually what determines that. And it'll be interesting to see how you guys do in the memo section today. Yes. But here's what we're raising money for. It is the Road Home, which is an amazing group that helps the homeless, unhoused population. And right now, their main fight is to provide the basic necessities for homeless kids to go back to school and be productive in the classroom. And we're not talking about Jordans and the greatest backpack you've ever seen. We're talking about the basic necessities, shoes, clothing, things like underwear and socks, a backpack that is simply paper and pens and pencils and all of those things that you need to compete in a classroom. And I know I've said this every day, it seems like forever, but what is it like when you go to school and you don't have new clothes? You're not well groomed and manicured. Maybe you haven't showered every day because you don't have a shower. You're living in a car or you're unhoused. That's what we're trying to stop. That's what we're trying to help end that cycle of poverty. And I quite literally mean $10, $5. There's 32,000 people watching the show right now. What if what if just 100 of us gave $10 right now? In hour number 1, 100 of us give $10 on Venmo. Advocates donations on Venmo. 100% of that goes to the road home, to put into the lives of homeless kids who need to go to school. It's really as simple as that. Make it happen. In the memo section on Venmo, have a take about your team. Have a take about the show. All you have to do is mention Monty, Monty, in the memo section, and you'll be entered to win our $100 Amazon gift card. So let's get that rolling. I'm very interested. Gabriel says, I'm so sorry for you, Monty. Being a Cub fan sucks today. It does. It absolutely does. Merrill Kelly going to the Texas Rangers. God damn it. I mean, you're watching it happen. You are watching it happen.
It's brutal.
Merrill Kelly was supposedly one of the top targets for the Chicago Cubs. He is now a Texas Ranger. I don't know what you do with that. I don't know what you do with that. There's no question, because the arms are now not available. The things that the Cubs need, there is not a top line starter. If it is in fact true that Dylan Cease is going to the Astros, there's not a top line starter available. There just isn't. So we can sit here and we can fantasize, but Merrill Kelly allegedly is now going to the Rangers, and the ship has sailed. The ship has sailed on the Cubs. The Texas Rangers are acquiring Merrill Kelly from the Arizona Diamondbacks, according to Jeff Passan. I can't even, I just can't figure it out. I want to, I just can't figure it out. I want to understand it, right? I completely want to understand it. And we can sit here and we can say that Justin Verlander is available. Is Justin Verlander going to the Cubs? Probably not. He's been terrible for a playoff contender in San Francisco. What are the Cubs going to do with Justin Verlander besides lose games? Because I think he has one win, and it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He has been terrible. Terrible. It's just amazing. Chewy Gonzalez for $200. Chewy. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now, I know Chewy, I think, told us last month that he does not have Venmo. So I appreciate that. If you're going to use a tip jar today, please do it on Venmo. Chewy, I appreciate the donation. Thank you. Eric Wasikowski, Tigers be adding bodies today, but nothing that is the end of the world or a true difference maker, says Eric Wasikowski, who's been a member for 19 months. Jake is otherwise occupied, so I appreciate it. Oh, there's the chime. Chewy Gonzalez, who's also been a member for 8 months. Chewy.
Nice job.
Dodgers pitching failing harder than Dion's bladder.
Bro.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow.
Chill.
Dion's bladder bomb. Okay. That's amazing. Yeah, the Dodgers, The Dodgers are a thing. I don't I think this deferred money is coming back on it's a huge problem, right? It is. I just don't know that you can operate like that in the long term. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question you're leveraging yourself, right? I mean, if you're going to defer that much money, it takes away your flexibility, and you're just hoping that guys stay healthy. And if they don't, it is what it is.
Yeah, man, I'm upset about Merrill Kelly. That's a guy you can put at Wrigley Field, which by any definition is a pitcher's ballpark, and he will win games because he's down in the zone and
movement guy.
That's a guy that would have done very well at Wrigley Field. A lot of ground balls with a really good defense. Phil Venzer, so Monty going to get season tickets in 26? Yeah, I'm a sucker. I don't know. Mrs. Monty's probably fed up having to she facilitates our season tickets. But, I don't know, Gabriel. Like what are the Cubs doing? Yeah, I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Not adding players is what they're
not
doing.
making moves to make a difference. That's what the Cubs are doing. So it's infuriating to me that here we sit and we just have no way to go about it. But yes, we are taking donations for the Advocates. John Blackwelder, first one in. Here you go. Backpacks carry books and futures. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, John Blackwelder, always taking part. Good to see you on the show today. Who do you think has made the best move so far? I don't know how it's not the San Diego Padres. Although now I got to tell you, the Texas Rangers, I mean, with Merrill Kelly in the middle of that lineup, that's going to be a much better rotation with Merrill Kelly there. But who's made the best moves? I mean, the Padres with O'Hearn, Laureano, and Wagner.
Yeah, I mean, you got bats for sure.
Miller, Sears. Those are good moves. I mean, certainly the Astros with Correa and Sanchez. Bringing Carlos Correa back to, by the way, play third base. That's unbelievable. I mean, that's a bat and a glove that you can really value. He's got to stay healthy. He's had trouble staying healthy.
He should be able to stay more healthy, though, playing third.
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, the Dodgers getting Alex Call, they needed a left fielder. You had to add a left fielder. If you can get Mookie Betts back healthy and back to 80% of himself, you feel like you're in good shape. The Astros, these moves by the Astros really shut out the Seattle Mariners. Even with Eugenio Suarez last night, that deal goes to the Mariners. The Mariners are 5 back. I mean, this move here pretty much guaranteed a postseason spot.
Mm-hmm.
It is really interesting to me. And I've got a copy of that filing.
Okay.
Let's see. Statement from the Mountain West. As outlined in today's joint status report, the Mountain West and its departing institutions engaged in additional mediation sessions earlier this month that did not result in a resolution. The litigation centers around the obligation of these institutions to pay the exit fees clearly defined in the Mountain West Conference bylaws, policies that they only helped develop and adopt, but also sought to enforce against San Diego State in the summer of 2023. Well, I mean, this is exactly what I've told you guys.
Yeah.
It is therefore inconsistent and unjust for these same institutions to now attempt to evade their responsibilities. In fact, the departing schools have agreed to similar exit fee provisions as part of their membership in the Pac-12. The Mountain West is prepared to respond to whatever assertions may be included in the second amended complaint. We remain confident in our legal position, which we will vigorously defend.
I'm just telling you, they're not moving off the spot, dude.
Yeah, not on these exit fees. I agree with that 100%.
They're not moving off the spot, bro.
I mean,
they shouldn't. They have the legal standing. They have the advantage, the upper hand. Like, I think that when you sign a damn contract, man, you're agreeing to the terms of the contract. And I really do believe all the drama and exaggeration and all the bloviation, if you will, about what the Pac-12 is going to do, it's going to come down to basic contract law. You signed a contract, you agreed to the terms, and now you don't want to adhere to those terms.
And I don't understand it.
That's not how it works. That's not how the law works. And I just think that when the day ends, at the end of the day, as the saying goes, the Pac-12 and its members are going to have to pay those exit fees. There's no other way around it.
I agree 100%.
And again, we're going to look back on this, what is it, July 31st. So we're going to look back on this, I would guess, by end of the year, I would suppose, I would guess. And we're going to say, hey, you spent almost a year paying lawyers to get to the day where you found out ultimately that you had to pay exit fees. Spent all that money, all that time, all that effort, all the negativity, just holding up your process, holding up your progress in becoming a conference again. For what? That's right. Just to do what the contract said it was going to do. Just to do what you agreed to do. So I'm not surprised at all by it. At all. Even a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. It'll be interesting to see how all this plays out. But I don't see any way, and this is just my opinion, I don't see any way that this significantly moves the needle on either side. I mean, I can only imagine that the exiting members don't want to go to court. That's why there was additional, according to the Mountain West, there was additional mediation there. The exiting members don't want to go to court on this because they can't win it. I think they wanted to negotiate, and I think that the Mountain West was not willing to come off of that. And I've been trying to explain this to people for months and months and months and months now. There's no impetus for the Mountain West as a conference to give a discount to the exiting members. What is the reason for them to do that? Why would you do that at this point? Your legal position is dominant. You have a contract. You, as exiting members, tried to hold other members to those provisions. And now you signed, as I told you guys a month ago, you signed a charter with the Pac-12 that essentially has the same provisions in it. Where is the legal precedent? Where is the law that sides with the exiting members on this? There's not. And I will continue to say, and maybe I'm the fool that will struggle with this. I don't know. I will continue to tell you there is nothing the Pac-12 has as far as the law, precedent, statutes, contract law, like just the basic tenets of contract law. There's nothing on the side of the exiting 10 members here. And furthermore, in the Pac-12 side of this with the poaching fees, there is no legal precedent that sides with the Pac-12. They signed a contract. They signed that contract with bad faith. That is an absolute tenet of contract law that when you engage in a contract, you have to use your best good faith effort to execute the tenet in terms of that contract. The Pac-12 clearly did not do that here. They do not have evidence that says that the Mountain West is engaging in obstruction of commerce. There's no evidence that they can put forward into that. There is no discovery that is going to prove that. I don't know where the Pac-12 goes but to the poorhouse on legal fees, which seems to be exactly what the Pac-12 likes to do. They love to pay lawyers. They have set records in modern college sports for how much money a conference pays lawyers and for what. That's the question that I'll continue to come back with. If you're the Pac-12 and you win this poaching case, you've already overpaid the lawyers because you didn't come out of mediation with a settlement, and now you're going into further litigation. You're going deeper into this. And my guess is at the end of this process, you're going to settle anyway, because now you've put the Mountain West in a position where they'd likely be in equity if they settle based on how much legal fees are going out the door. Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense for the Pac-12 and its exiting members to continue to kick this can down the road, Because you're paying attorneys to do that.
Endlessly.
And I want to understand it. I do not understand it at this moment. I want to, I do not. And for me, we're going to talk about like Michigan in a minute. This is what Michigan did with the Jim Harbaugh thing. You paid attorneys, pay lawyers, withdraw your claim. All you did was pay lawyers. That's all you did, right? Stupid people do stupid things. And I will also just keep throwing this adage out there. What is the best indicator of future action?
Well,
Past behavior. Past behavior. It continues to be the poor business practices that the Pac-12 has employed for more than a decade continue to be those same business practices they employ going forward. You're violating basic tenets of contract law. And now you're admitting you did that. According to some sources, you knew you had no good faith. You had no intention of executing the terms of that contract, the scheduling agreement. What are you going to do? Stand in front of a judge and say, yeah, we knew it was BS. Yeah, we had no intention of paying those poaching fees. You're going to get laughed out of court.
Mm-hmm.
That this went to mediation and you didn't get close to a settlement is mind-numbing to me. We are just 22 minutes away from the MLB trade deadline. So the Cubs have made a minor deal. They acquire Willie Castro, a light-hitting outfielder from the Twins.
Jeff Passan refers to this gentleman as a super utility man.
He is a guy that throughout his career, he's never been able to win a job. He's been a guy that you play 5-6 days a week. And the more you play him, the worse he gets, right? That's the exposure level we've always seen.
Yes.
And I always say, well, your favorite player is the guy who comes off the bench and hits a pinch hit home run, and fans immediately say, why isn't he getting more at-bats? Well, then you give him more at-bats, and what happens? Production goes down. Welcome Willie Castro to Wrigley Field. Like, he's going to play. He is going to play positions for you, and you're going to see that he's an athlete. He's a guy that he isn't gonna kill you. He can play multiple infield positions. He generally can play second and third and corner outfield spots. But at what point do you want him? Like, what was the point here? What was the point here?
I guess to add depth. I don't know.
I
Like,
think
that's it. Like,
I think it's that you are not going to trade Matt Shaw. That's what this is. That's all. You are not going to make a deal for a third baseman. So now you're just going to bring in another slapdick who can't really hit and doesn't really have a home position. Because that's what this guy is. You haven't gone out and gotten Mackenzie Gore, Dylan Cease, Sandy Alcantara. You haven't done any of that. But we got Willie Castro.
neat.
That's really not that exciting, which is fine. So we have a lot going on, obviously, with this Mountain West story. Make sure that if you are watching on Twitter right now, again, we're having another monster day on Twitter. We've got 96,000 people watching the show on Twitter right now. Love that, you guys. Appreciate everybody on the X platform doing the job. And usually on days like the Major League Baseball trade deadline, we generally see a lot more people on the X platform tuned into the show. So we appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's make sure that you guys hit the like button on Twitter. Please give us a retweet if you are watching the show on Twitter.
Spread the love.
Spread the love, man. Please, right now, if you're watching, please hit retweet. Please give us a like. Click the YouTube link up in the bio. Come over to YouTube. Everybody on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. Because on this show, we live by one axiom: length and girth.
Wow, we're calling for this drop already.
Look at
length and girth.
Look at Jedi Buck already up in this piece. Hey, man, can I get some length and girth?
Length and girth.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Lopes fan gave 96,000 people watching and only 90,000 are bots. Exactly right. Hey, man, I'll tell you, it has been a revelation on the X platform. And I'll admit guiltily, we put all of our focus into YouTube on a regular basis up until about 6-8 weeks ago when we really started pushing hard on X. And it's made a big difference. There's no doubt. I'm just hoping the Stros get their slugger back. Things are shaping up for a great postseason. You guys need to be healthy about August 15th. If you guys can get that full lineup in place through half of August and give yourself a full run of a playoff roster and lineup through September, the Astros have a chance to win another World Series.
Screw them. Yeah, that's true. They need to stay healthy. If you stay healthy, you'll be fine. And by the way, I do think that when it comes down to the trade deadline and the teams who are going to be competitive, it always comes down to who's healthy, because ultimately, the one thing you can say about today is it's all fine and dandy. You made all these moves, but you're probably 2 injuries away from none of these moves mattering. So,
yeah, I think it is. I think
tough.
Correa's got to be healthy. I mean, that's the one.
But like that move,
Boyd,
he really should stay healthy. That's the thing. Like,
he should.
At third base, he should be able to stay healthy. It just shouldn't be that big a deal. But we'll see. All
right, leading up to the trade deadline, I promise you we will get to those scumbag losers up in Ann Arbor coming up here in about 15 minutes. But just looking at, and now, of course, everybody is blowing up my phone on this Mountain West thing. The answer is I don't. A lot of people are asking, well, what is the Mountain West floor on settlement? I don't think they have a floor for a settlement.
Would you have a floor on a settlement? And I'm being serious here. I'm not even being a red ass. Think about what these two have gone through. If you're the Mountain West, you have the high ground, if you will. You are on better footing from a legal perspective. You have the advantage. The contract is on your side. You are the one who is owed the damages, if you will, the exit fees and poaching fees and all that good stuff. You've been through mediation now. You've been negotiating for. And again, there was a time when these two weren't talking and yada, yada. I don't buy that. I think these two have been trying to negotiate and figure something out for 8 months, probably 9 months.
Yeah.
We're working on a year, kind of. Like, you're in a time when you guys have been having the same conversation over and over again for how long, and you haven't been able to move on anything, which is why I think mediation failed. And so the idea
I would agree with that.
The idea here is the question is, hey, well, what's the floor in settlement talks for the Mountain West? I don't think that there is a floor. I don't think that they're going to budge now. I don't think that they're going to acquiesce. I think that they're going to say, hey, bro, you guys in 2023, in the statement, they say in 2023, you guys created the very rules that you're trying to run from now. So it's high time that you lived up to your responsibility and your obligations, and we're not going to move off of it. And to that, I say, I don't blame the Mountain West for that. And I'll also say, I think when you're the Pac-12 and you've been running business the way you've been running business for at least a decade, probably more like 20 years, if we're being honest, like at some point that comes back around to get you. You can only scheme and be nefarious for so long until you get caught. And now the problem is you've got the bear claw around your leg and you can't get out. So good luck. Like you're going to wind up paying these fees, maybe for a slight discount, but you're going to wind up paying these fees. And like I've been saying for months, I'm not sure how you climb out of that hole.
I don't know. This is really bad business for the Pac-12. And listen, if you're a Pac-12 supporter on X or on YouTube, you're welcome to comment on the show. I'd love to talk with you guys, because if you're a Pac-12 fan at this point, as we are now under 15 minutes until the Major League Baseball trade deadline, if you are a Pac-12 fan at this moment in time, you have to be concerned about the volume of dollars going out of the conference.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the cost of production this year. That's a significant dollar value going out of the conference. I look at the legal fees. That's a significant amount of money going out of the conference. I look at the exit fees for these exiting 5 members coming into the Pac-12. That's a lot of money. I look at the fact we still don't have a whole TV media rights deal done. That's a lot of money. And I say this in all sincerity, and I know that Pac-12 fans think I hate the Pac-12. I do not hate the Pac-12. I hate the way the Pac-12 does business.
Mhm.
And I say this in all sincerity. You had several good days. You had several good days in a row. Got a grant of rights done. You got a charter done. All of it. Then you announced a CBS deal, and that's where we stand. Because you didn't get mediation done. You had Boise State pop it off at the mouth about suing the Mountain West over Grand Canyon. Haven't seen that. How dare you? Haven't seen that. Right? Like you've bloviated and talked yourself into this position. And the problem is you don't have the dollars to back that up. And so you're in this box now where you've got to figure out how to, and I understand it, you've got to figure out how to save as much of these exit fees and poaching fees as you can, but you don't have a legal remedy to do that. I think you're a hard no. You're a hard loss on the exit fees because your actions just don't, I'll continue to say, you've painted yourself into a corner by the way you've acted and the actions you've taken through the last 3 years. You've painted yourself into this corner. And now you allowed the Pac-12 conference to come in and raid you. You go and join the Pac-12 conference, and now you're part of the effort to keep those poaching fees from being paid. And the thing that I don't think you understand is if those poaching fees are paid, you're going to lose money. The exiting 5 members will lose money if those fees are not paid because the distribution will be less. Like, where do you think that money's going? It's going into the coffers of the Mountain West, and that money goes to run the conference into its membership. Like it's this vicious cycle that you can't get away from. I'll never understand it.
Yeah,
I will never understand it. I do understand that Replica's back in the membership.
Let's go, baby. Welcome back,
Replica. Good to see you. Again, we are just now 11 minutes away. 11 minutes away. Joey B. Odds that Monty wears a golf print or solid color golf shirt while driving the X. You mean the X4M? Print plus 150, solid minus 250.
So now we have over under on Monty's shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
John Blackwelder. I've signed many contracts and there's little to no wiggle room on exit fees as stated. Those fudge Packers. It's a bit PAC.
Fudge Packers.
There's a trade alert and it's not the Cubs.
Trade alert.
Wow. Dustin May goes from the Dodgers to the Red Sox.
See, now I'd be pissed if I was a Cubs fan.
But isn't he injured?
It doesn't matter. That's a young flamethrower.
That's
a guy you want in your organization.
The Pac-12 are tanking the members and the fans' future. Imagine how many backpacks the legal fees would buy. My goodness. If only, right? RJ, are you in Phuket? No. The King of Thailand is moving to Thailand August 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, Dustin May goes from the Dodgers to the Red Sox. That's a salary dump. That to me feels like a contract you don't want to execute and you don't want to upgrade. And I think the Red Sox did a very smart move there. How many of these moves are being paid by the future leverage the Dodgers are under?
A lot.
It's got to play a role, right? You know, the Dodgers, and I don't remember the number. The Dodgers.
Dude, more Padres news. Nestor Cortez Jr. from the Brewers.
Gotta be kidding me. How are the Brewers making that trade? Totaling over $1 billion in deferment payments between 2028 and 2046.
Reds got Miguel Andujar from the Athletics. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know what the Cubs are doing.
I don't know what the Cubs are doing, bro. They're just sitting here doing nothing, and it's crazy.
We'll see what. Yeah, I mean, again, we have 9 minutes now. We have 9 minutes until Bailey Falter goes to the Royals. Dude, we have a light here in our studio that blocks half of the TV for me. It's brutal. But yeah, we are now 8 minutes away from the MLB trade deadline. So I'm probably you're probably going to see me break down. I'm going to become emo Monty. It's not going to be good.
Just a little I told you so out of Ross Dellinger for all of you people saying that the Pac-12 is still a power conference and going to, get an AQ and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not a power conference on the football field, but they are a power conference as far as the house settlement is concerned because of the timing and the backdating. So,
yeah, there was a lot of hubbub over the Pac-12 logo on the house settlement letterhead. Well, because when the house lawsuit was filed, the Pac-12 was a power conference.
Yeah.
So if you're in a power conference, you're automatically opted in. So that's why they're there. But, it's fine. It is what it is. Taylor Rogers to the Cubs from the Pirates. Taylor Rogers isn't it. That's not a bad move. Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is some amazing move because it's not. But Taylor Rogers is a guy that is a vet. He's a guy that is he's bounced around a little bit here. 40 games this year with a really bad. Wait, wasn't he? Yeah, wasn't he on the Reds? What did I miss here? I thought he was on the. Anyways, Taylor Rogers 2-2 with a 2.45 ERA, 33 innings, 34 Ks, and only 29 hits. So he's getting guys out. And he's typically a guy that'll give you 50, 60 games a year out of the bullpen. And in those games, he generally is going to give you a full inning, which is what you really like. So Cubs make a minor move with a reliever. We'll see how that works out. Adrian Hauser goes to the Rays from the White Sox. That's an interesting move. That's a very interesting move. Ooh, Jose Caballero goes to the Yankees. Is Volpe becoming a part-time player? That's very interesting. See, now some moves are coming in. Now some moves are coming. Boy,
Bob Nightingale reporting that there is very little traction on Zach Gallen in the trade market.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising because he was not great. Phil Maton to the Texas Rangers from the St. Louis Cardinals. Boy, how about the Texas Rangers, folks? The Texas Rangers making moves. The Yankees are making moves. I'm a little surprised about that Hauser move for the Rays. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. And yet the Cubs still don't have their starting pitcher. The Cubs still do not have their starting pitcher. And maybe I just shouldn't give a rat's ass. I don't know. 4 minutes until the MLB trade deadline. The Wolf back to the pack, back to back bad choices for the Pac-12. I don't hate that. Jeremiah Champion, dude, just had a water balloon fight with students. I was targeted. I don't believe that.
What do you mean you were targeted? Are there targeting rules in water balloon fights?
The Cubs need to get a starting pitcher here. Do they make who's the best available starting pitcher? I don't even know who you would get here. Rock and Rant. I know you got checked out the other day, but I'm legit scared that there's a Dave Aranda parasite in your body since you used the word midget the day after he did.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Little people have rights too.
Do you typically throw them or more roll them? Or, what is the technique?
I typically roll them between my thumb and forefinger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Very interesting. Okay. The behind the scenes stuff is fairly interesting. David Person, somebody needs to tackle the Pac-12 before they do more damage. You're not even kidding. November 15th, he is moving to Thailand. I like it. Let's see. Dustin May is coming off of TJ. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. The Natural. Yep, Reds time. Reds made a nice move today. 3 minutes to go before the deadline. Maybe Willie Castro broke his arm like that kid from Rookie of the Year, and he's about to have an amazing finish to the season. Nah, it's not happening. Mikal Bridges signed a 4-year, $150 million extension with the Knicks about 10 minutes ago. That came out, yes. The Wolf. Monty, after the Cubs don't make another move today, where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Wolf of Wall Street.
2 minutes. John Hamm, all this baseball talking, it's clear the big red machine is going to win it all. Yeah.
Oh, please.
I mean, Johnny Bench is red hot right now. Red hot. Chris Young has a plan for me. Okay. Jeremiah Champion, as in when they were done pelting each other with the water balloons, they turned their attention onto me and the rest of the staff, as I would have done.
Same.
Yes. One of us.
Yeah.
Right? One of us. Exactly right. Doug Salisbury Steak. A Mountain West school should sue the PAC for antitrust violations for signing that contract and artificially limiting Mountain West School's ability to join the PAC. After all, the PAC is an equal party to that contract. Well, I think you just have to find a way to make it end. You can neither one of these, and I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. Neither one of these conferences is in a position where they're just able to, burn hundos. Like you're not just stacking your money up and setting it on fire, because that's what you're doing when you pay lawyers. I mean, you have to understand that there's no, I'm telling you, we are at a junction here where I don't believe the Pac-12, whether they get a judgment or not, can win this case because of the money that they are spending and the unknown about the build of this conference going forward. Is we are now under a minute until the Major League Baseball trade deadline hits. I mean, I just will continue to say there's going to be no winner here. The Mountain West, I think, has done everything that they can do to just right the ship, add membership, get GCU in, and move forward. Making their TV deal, I will continue to tell you, I think that their TV deal is going to be just fine. I just think that you have to get through this paying lawyers as little as possible.
Yeah.
That's
Which
really
doesn't
important.
seem to be the Pac-12 strategy.
That is really important. And I'm waiting to see what the statement these exiting 10 members make and what their filing says. Because we have not seen the entirety of the exiting 5 members filing in court. And I think that's a big deal. That is a big deal. So, and we have now officially hit the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and the Cubs have done absolutely nothing at this moment. Now, are there deals on the fax machine in New York at Major League Baseball offices? Sure there are. This feels like a massive loss for the Chicago Cubs. This feels like a massive loss. I am sitting here absolutely shocked that the Cubs have not made a major deal to upgrade their rotation. And it is another tragic slap in the face for Cubs fans. And as somebody, again, I have season tickets in spring and at Wrigley Field. It is a really, really frustrating situation that if the Cubs somehow don't find a way to make a deal happen here that isn't on the fax machine already, this will be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah. And you'll pay the price for it later in the season. And then there'll be a bunch of excuses made, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know how you I don't know what you do with this. I really don't know what you do with this. It is, and you got to be killing. The Yankees got Camilo Duvall from the San Francisco Giants.
Brutal.
I mean, that's an incredible pickup at the 11th hour. Oh, wow. And now a good move for the Tigers. Charlie Morton is going to the Detroit Tigers.
That's a good move.
That is a good pickup. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That is shocking. That is shocking. The Cubs did absolutely nothing. And how do you explain it? How do you justify it? How do you?
You don't. That's the problem. Like, I literally think the plan is don't spend money. And
Wow.
when we lose later in the year and we don't make the playoffs, we'll just say we did everything we could. Like, that's it.
I am.
It's terrible.
It is incredibly disappointing. I don't even know how you. I truly do not know. Like, this is a massive swing and a miss, and I mean no pun intended. This is a huge miss by the Chicago Cubs, and I wish I could explain it to you. Taylor Rogers is a decent pickup. I just don't know.
I methat you really are you? And I'm being sincere. Are you really that surprised they didn't make a big move?
Yeah, I
of
am.
Any kind?
I thought that this was, we were being sold by the Cubs that they were all in to win a World Series this year, and that they were the offense was a surprise, and this club was a year ahead of time, and they've done absolutely nothing to help their chances. They've done absolutely nothing. Not a thing. Not a fucking thing did they do today to make themselves a better team. And Charlie Morton is a really good pickup by Detroit. So now every contender but the Cubs made a move. Every contender but the Cubs made a move to improve themselves. Charlie Morton is a guy that you can put in that rotation. Now, his best years are behind him. Let's not get carried away. It's not like he's going to win a Cy Young award. And I think we talked about this earlier in the week. He's got a 5.42 ERA. For a starting pitcher, that's not great. And his road ERA is even worse. But when you start looking at his numbers, the things that scare you are his runs are earned. They are not unearned runs. He 3.3712 in the month of July in 5 starts. 16 runs, 16 earned, 6 home runs, 14 walks. So you worried he does give up quite a few home runs, but he's a guy that with a 4.91 ERA, he had a terrible April, and he's had a terrible July. So who is Charlie Morton? He's probably a guy that's going to be energized going to Detroit.
Yes.
So that is a good pickup. Charlie Morton is a good ad for the Detroit Tigers.
And
today.
very much different than Skubal and some of the other guys they have. It's a nice contrasting piece.
Yeah, I would agree. I just, man, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. We'll see. I mean, now you're just in a position where you got to hope the Cubs have a deal on the fax machine. Right? You got to hope that all they really have to do is call the Major League Baseball office and say, hey, we have this deal in place that's coming over. As long as you do that by 6 Eastern, you're good. Something tells me they're probably not going to do that. That's just a guess.
Yeah.
So a hugely disappointing day. Because again, to answer your question directly, yeah, the Cubs were selling that this was the year they were going all in. And they were going to do everything they could do to support this offense. And, it's a shame Justin Steele went down, but we're in the market and we're going to go get this guy and Eugenio Suarez. And we were hearing about Dylan Cease, and we were hearing about all these guys. Nothing. And it is It is what it is. I guess I could sit here and say the same thing for hours, but it's really frustrating. It is really, really
Well,
frustrating.
and it's more frustrating on the heels of the extension for Jed.
Yeah. Jed Hoyer, the GM, just got a huge extension. I think Tuesday. Today's Thursday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of surprised, and I wish that I wasn't. But is what it is. It is.
They don't want to win bad enough, bro. Simple as that.
Yeah. And some deals are trickling in, little minor, nothing deals. But you're in a position where it just doesn't matter now because the Cubs have lost they will not make the playoffs now. My guess is that, and we'll get an attaboy and a nice job and way to make an effort. The Chicago Cubs are going to miss the playoffs because everybody that they're in contention with, the Cincinnati Reds are certainly a better defensive team today than they were when the day began. I think certainly, you start looking at the wild card. The Cubs are not better than the Phillies, Padres, who are in that race. Cincinnati, I think the Cubs in Cincinnati are probably even. The Cubs hit better, the Reds pitch better. So it's going to be a toss-up. So we'll see. It's really upsetting to me. It's really frustrating.
As it should be.
Yes.
As it should be.
It's really disappointing. So not disappointing is that we are raising money for the Advocates and the road home to provide the basic necessities for school kids to compete and succeed in the classroom this fall. You guys, we talk about it all the time. Today is the last day. It is the last day of July. Let's make a big push. I don't want to put a number on it like, hey, let's do 10,000. I don't want to put a number on it. Let's do as much as we possibly can today. And, we raised about $300 yesterday and now today. I would love to see us do at least 1,000. If we can add 700 more to that, that'd be great. All you have to do is get on Venmo, Advocates donations on Venmo. And we have a huge audience today on X. That's crazy. 108,232 people. Another 1,000 on Facebook as well. So we appreciate that. Let's go ahead and get you guys rolling on that on Venmo. Advocates donations. If just 1,000 of you watching, of the 108,000 total people watching this show, if just 1,000 of you take the 2 minutes that is required to get on Venmo and send $10 to Advocates donations. Let's make that happen. Advocates donations, $10 from 1,000 of you. Let's end it all. Let's put it all to bed right now. 100% of that money goes to homeless kids. They get a backpack full of supplies that they need, including clothing, things like socks, underwear, shirts. Again, imagine showing up at school and you have clothes with holes in them. You're probably not showered or well manicured because you're homeless. You're either living in a car, in a campsite. Hopefully you're living in a shelter so that you have a cot or a bed to sleep in. That's the lives we're talking about. Those are the options of kids who have no other choice but to do their very best because they're not equipped to get a job. They're not ready to go and make money and survive on their own. That's why they're called kids.
Yeah.
So let's help them out. $10. Let's get it done right now. Advocates donations. We'll give away a $100 Amazon gift card as we do every time we do one of these on the show to the best Venmo memo section. The best Venmo memo section gets the $100 Amazon gift card. So hook it up. Advocates donations.
Let's do it.
And John Hamm's been trying hard to be an asshole today with the Steve Bartman reference. Do you guys understand that Steve Bartman's not like an insult to Cub fans? Like, I think guys like John think it's funny to be. I've never understood this. Steve Bartman had no role in the Cubs losing that game or that series. Do you guys remember that, where he was a fan? He clearly did not reach into the field to play. He was sitting in his seat that he had for years and years. There was a ball. Moises Alou tried to jump into the stands to catch it and didn't catch it. And even Moises Alou, who I've talked to directly one-on-one on KMBR in San Francisco about this, straight up said, oh, it wasn't his fault. I was frustrated. We were spiraling. Like, and I love guys like John who will pay me $2 to try and insult the Cubs when it's not insulting the Cubs, and Steve Bartman played no role in them losing that game.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the $2. But that comment doesn't bother me. It doesn't upset me at all. So you do you, man. But yeah, amongst the headlines today, the Cubs not making moves. Come on, Monty. Cubs have Mr. October, Justin Turner, who's fat and old and cannot catch a baseball. The guy, he's trying to play first base, tried to play third base the other day, had a ball hit him in the shin. Like the guy is just not prepared to compete. He should retire. He is done, right? Like Hall of Shame game today. Yes, the Hall of Fame game today, which I could not possibly. It's not possible.
You're not even excited that there's
not at all
on.
Not even a little bit.
Why?
It does not. I will not, because it's a garbage game. You won't even get starters for most of those positions. Watch the game tonight. I'm not telling you not to watch it. That game sucks every single year. You guys remember when the field wasn't playable?
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to like cancel the game because the paint was poorly applied. Like, bro, that game is one of the most meaningless things ever. The Hall of Fame game. And yeah, I'm probably being a red ass about it. I don't know. I just don't.
I think it's at least exciting football is back on.
Okay. I like it. We'll keep you up to date if any other deals come in after the bell here on the MLB trade deadline. But let's get into this Michigan story, because I know a lot of people today are here to talk about those scumbags in Ann Arbor. I'm very interested to get your thoughts on this, because there's some chatter online today based on a notice of allegations through the NCAA about Central Michigan having Connor Stallions on their sideline. You guys remember that? Connor Stallions was dressed in Central Michigan garb, trying to hide on the sidelines. He was wearing his photogenic glasses and wearing a Central Michigan coaching outfit, trying to hide. And people were like, wait a minute, I know who that guy is.
Sign stealer guy.
Yeah, it's sign stealer guy, right? And the funny thing is, now the notice of allegation, essentially the allegations being made against Central Michigan are they hired Connor Stallions for one game to help them against Michigan State. I don't know how much of that I believe. But again, when we're talking about the scumbags in Ann Arbor, what's abundantly clear? They had no control over their employee. And when you start looking at Matt Weiss and the heinous crimes he committed, and you start looking at Jim Harbaugh buying cheeseburgers for hungry kids, and the atrocities he committed, including the fact that they could not convince him to go and testify and meet with the Committee on Infractions for how long? The scumbags in Ann Arbor have no control over their football program, at least not during the Jim Harbaugh years. The evidence is enormous. You have multiple operators inside of that program who have self-admitted level 1 violations and who are repeat offenders, including the current head coach in Sharon Moore. But we're supposed to believe that Connor Stallions was a lone wolf acting on his own, and he just went over to Central Michigan for one game as a hired assassin to steal signs. We're supposed to believe that. Somehow that doesn't ring true to me. And we can pitch that and sell that, and we can feel good about, oh, Michigan, they had no idea. Jimmy, here's what I'm going to tell you again. Did you know that your employee, Connor Stallions, was at Central Michigan on the sideline during the Michigan State game? Yeah, I knew, and we gave him permission. Okay, great, you're out. That's a level 1 NCAA violation. Oh, we didn't know. We had no idea. Okay, you're a terrible head coach who has no control over his staff and personnel. You're out for being a terrible head coach who has no control of his staff and personnel. So which one is it? Any way you slice it, Michigan is an institution that fosters an environment, in my opinion, of being cheating, scumbag liars who will do anything they can do to skirt rules, to win football games and take away well-earned wins and glory from kids who busted their ass to be college football players at other institutions in the Big Ten. But that didn't work because Michigan wanted to cheat by stealing signs, whether it was in a Central Michigan uniform for one game or a Michigan University uniform for one game. It matters not to me. Connor Stallions was an employee at Michigan. Jake, that makes him Michigan's responsibility.
100%. And I think this concept that, due to showing up on other people's sidelines, like how far does the rabbit hole go? I mean, were you out, selling this guy to other programs for a fee? Like, I mean, what was this? How wide is the web? Like, how big is the picture here in the scope? Because let's say that it is true, that the allegations are true, that he just was on their sideline for one game to help them beat Michigan State. Like, okay, you're telling me that Michigan did that for free? Michigan took that risk for free? There's no way in hell. There's no way. There is no way that a Michigan staffer at that time was going to be seen on Central Michigan sideline versus Michigan State, and Michigan wasn't benefiting from that in some form or fashion. And
no chance.
I just sit here and it just, every time we get a fresh story about the Michigan sign stealing scandal, there's another layer of debauchery. There's another layer of, we don't care. Like, from Central Michigan side, like, do you guys just not care? Like, was the stance literally just, yeah, we don't care about the punishment. We're just going to cheat because we have to win this game. And, if we get caught, we get caught. If not, great. I mean, is that what the culture is in the state of Michigan for football? Like, honestly.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like these programs are doing is, hey, we're going to do whatever the hell we want. If we get caught, we get caught. If not, great. And we're going to win a national championship and flip everyone the bird. And we're going to try to help CMU for 1 week. And we're going to ruin a bunch of people's lives through computer hacking and theft. Okay. I mean, everybody does that, right?
And the best part was going back to a good dude like Jim McElwain. And I want to remind you, where did Jim McElwain work before he worked at Central Michigan? The University of Michigan, whose two programs have significant ties during the Harbaugh era. Here's Jimmy trying to explain his way out of it.
We've obviously are aware of a picture floating around with the sign stealer guy. Our people are doing everything they can to get to the bottom of it. We're totally unaware of it. I certainly don't condone it in any way, shape, or form. And I do know that his name was on none of the passes that were let out. Now we just keep tracing it back and try to figure it out. But it's in good hands with our people. And again, there's no place in football for that.
Yet now the notice of allegation says you knew. And now it looks like you knew, and you hired him anyway for one game, allegedly. That's what's being put out there. Do you guys see how ridiculous this is? Do you see how many people are caught up with these scumbags in Ann Arbor who were repressing their students' First Amendment rights related to Israel and Palestine, who were absolutely disrespecting their fellow Big Ten members, who were stealing signs to beat teams like Rutgers?
Sign stealer guy.
Jim Harbaugh couldn't win a big game, and then all of a sudden just beats everybody
in dominant fashion.
And we're supposed to believe that Connor Stallions was just a lone wolf. He's just a lone wolf. Well, then, if he was a lone wolf, what was he doing in Central Michigan? With a coaching staff who is intimately familiar with the operations of Michigan football. They, in my opinion, knew what Connor Stallions knew. They brought him in to try and win that game. And somebody that is a diehard Michigan football fan would like nothing more than to beat wholesale Michigan State ass. And I'm supposed to believe that, oh, I had no idea it wasn't on the pass list. There's no place in college football. Well, it turns out there was a place, Jim. And it ruins your legacy. He
Yeah.
destroyed your career. Jim Harbaugh, all he does is destroy everything he touches.
And for what? This has always been my point. For what? What exactly did you get out of all this? What great thing did you do?
I
'Cause
mean,
and Michigan fans can say, "Oh, the national championship." Okay, cool. You got a national championship that everyone knows you got by stealing signs. So, like, what? You didn't really get anything, man.
it's not impressive. It's just not impressive to me. And I continue to say this every time we talk about Michigan. How many lives did that Jim Harbaugh football program at Michigan destroy? You look at the players and coaches on the opposite sidelines of all those games that Connor Stallions was involved in. You look at the legacies that were not realized because of all of the work that Michigan football did to cheat and steal games. You look at the paychecks and monies that were not realized by the other administrators, coaches, assistant coaches, because Michigan cheated their way to winning games. You look at this Central Michigan situation, careers and lives and resumes forever destroyed, and all of it under the watch of Jim Harbaugh and scumbag, awful, terrible athletic director Ward Manuel. And we're just supposed to believe that all this was just happenstance, and we just were playing football games. I mean, everybody steals signs. I mean, Lone Wolf. Never mind that Lone Wolf doesn't matter. Doesn't exist in the NCAA rulebook. Now, because the NCAA is so gosh darn incompetent, here we sit, no punishment handed out yet. And at some point it'll happen.
At some point.
Right? At some point it'll happen. But, you know, Jim Harbaugh went and got a huge paycheck from other scumbags in Los Angeles, the, you know, birds of a feather. You know, you look at John Harbaugh, who yesterday got on his knees and absolutely deep-throated a certain somebody who has done everything he can to destroy the city of Baltimore, but that doesn't matter.
And girth.
Right? That doesn't matter. The Harbaugh family destroys everything it touches.
It's really embarrassing, dude. Honestly.
They don't win championships. They're not good human beings. Like when you look at Matt Weiss, who did Matt Weiss work for? John and Jim Harbaugh
For a long time.
And you look at guys like Connor Stallions, Jim Harbaugh. You look at what Jim Harbaugh left behind at Stanford and in San Francisco, destruction in his wake. You look what now he's left behind at Michigan, destruction in his wake. You absolutely decimated any integrity that university had. And all that did was continue to force people to peel back layers to find out how much of a scumbag you all really were in Ann Arbor. And holy cow, you're really a bunch of scumbags.
Yeah, because now we've graduated from being surprised, right? I mean, honestly, like we're in a place now where when this stuff continues to come out, we're just like, yeah, sounds like them.
I mean,
sounds like something they do.
And the wild thing is, Michigan fan won't own up to it. Nobody's taking your championship away. Just admit you cheated. And the sad thing is, and I this is not new, I've said this on the show before, that roster was the most talented roster the year they won. I mean, you had a bunch of really middle-tier, incompetent coaches who couldn't develop talent, couldn't call game plans. You're seeing it with Sharon Moore. Now we're hearing about how his players are ill-prepared, and who's really surprised by that? Right? Who's really surprised that J.J. McCarthy is struggling in Vikings camp? I'm not surprised. Who's really surprised that a guy like Connor Stallions was set loose and ran wild? Because there's no oversight. Who's really surprised that Matt Weiss victimized hundreds of young people in a sexually explicit manner, according to federal documents and charges and filings, while an employee at Michigan? Who's really surprised that First Amendment rights were being repressed by Santa Ono and his crew on the campus at Michigan?
Wild.
Who's really surprised? Who's really surprised that Jim Harbaugh was committing recruiting violations, lying about it, then getting caught, doubling down, and then finally would go and talk to the Committee on Infractions, and then finally would self-inflict a suspension. And then all of his sheep would run out and say, oh, he was just giving cheeseburgers to hungry kids, Monty. Central Michigan fell victim to the University of Michigan because Jim McElwain and his staff were Michigan guys.
And the fact that he stood up there and lied about it is just incredible.
And Michigan destroys everything it touches. And it will continue to do that until it gives a mea culpa. And the worst athletic director in the history of the University of Michigan is no longer there. And Sharon Moore, who's a multi-time level 1 guy, because he's a repeat offender, remember, is no longer the head coach there. And the coaching staff that was under Jim Harbaugh and then Sharon Moore is no longer there. And Santa Ono is no longer there. But the problem is there's so many guys that had to play a role that those scumbags in Ann Arbor have so much house cleaning to do. I don't know that we'll ever get to that point in time. It's sad. And the worst part is Michigan fan won't admit that Jim Harbaugh stuck a finger like up to all the way in and then left you high and dry. You won't admit that Santa Ono was so incompetent he couldn't get hired at Florida. You won't admit that. You won't admit that your roster was the best roster and you had a bunch of jackwagons as head coaches who had to cheat to win. Like all this stuff, and then it's going to be, oh, you're just a jerk. You don't know what you're talking about.
You hate
You just hate Michigan. You're an Ohio State fan. No, I'm not. But is it any justice that Ward Manuel tried to screw Ohio State and they went on the greatest run that anybody's ever seen in the history of college football to win a national championship?
Ohio State.
I think it's some modicum of justice.
Yeah, I think
not enough.
I think it's, it is justice. It is karma. It is what should have happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's
no doubt about it.
It's just amazing.
And I think that's why this new, the new governing body that they're trying to come up with, I think is so important. I think that we have to be able, like, if the two of us can sit here and be like, hey, this is wrong, based on everything, all the evidence we have, they did X, Y, and Z, and this should be the punishment. It shouldn't take a year to punish somebody, man. Like, that's just ridiculously long.
Yeah. The incompetence of the NCAA is killing college football. And we've talked about that 1,000,001 times. It's why we're going to have a new enforcement arm. And we already do. Like, it's just crazy to me. Everyone hires people to go sit up in the crowd and record other sidelines. No, they don't. First I've heard of it. Nobody does that. You know how we know? Because the first time it happened, they got caught.
And you know how we know? Because they don't have to. They get every single angle.
And this is it. The funny thing is, Connor Stallions has much said this. There's no reason to go deploy people to stadiums. You get what's called an all 22, which is a high angle. You get tight shots of the sideline. Stealing signs is not even difficult. The thing that's so funny is a guy like Connor Stallions made a science of it and is elite at it. But I guarantee you, if you got Connor Stallions in a private moment where whatever he said would never be spoken of again, he would tell you, yeah, I didn't need to send those guys out to those stadiums. Connor Stallions is a brilliant mind. You read the things he's written, the things he's done. Let it sink in. They won a national championship because they had the other team sign signals. They knew the personnel groupings. Like Connor Stallions, in my opinion, from having covered football for all these years, Michigan, it wasn't even that Michigan knew the play. Like that it was going to be a run between the A gap, and they knew how the other team blocked that A gap. They knew what the tendencies of the opposing defense were and which succeeded and failed against that run. He's an analyst. And I believe, and forgive me if I'm wrong, Connor Stallions is a United States Marine and an analyst. And he put his heart and soul into digesting the other team. He knows not only what the signal means, but we all know what the signal means. That's very different than looking at that signal, saying, here's that play, and then having taken the week preparing to say, when that play comes in, we need to be in this and that and do this and put this guy in.
Got to have our leverage in the right spot, bro.
They took the information that Connor Stallions stole and they deployed it with their defense and their offense. That's what Connor Stallions is. Connor Stallions, and I got news for you. This probably won't be popular amongst my friends in Columbus and in Cleveland. Connor Stallions is a victim here. Connor Stallions didn't do anything that I would hope Notre Dame and every other staff in the country does, which is steal the other team's signals. But Connor Stallions was a victim of Jim Harbaugh because Jim Harbaugh didn't protect him. Jim Harbaugh threw him into the sea. Connor Stallions was bleeding profusely, and he threw him into the sea where the sharks were swimming to try and save himself. Connor Stallions is a victim of Jim Harbaugh. Connor Stallions was not a lone wolf. He was doing his job, and he did it very well.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Stallions isn't a bad guy. Connor Stallions isn't some scumbag. No, Connor Stallions is an elite operator. And unfortunately, nobody said, hey, you can't do that, son. But here's all the tape. Here's the sideline, because you had those folks up in the stands with the phones and the iCloud account and the Venmo and the ticket account. And well, we already have all that video. You didn't need to do it. That's almost the best part of it.
It's the irony.
You had so little oversight. My opinion is Connor Stallions had so little oversight and direction because Jim Harbaugh is not an organizational guy. He's not a manager. I can tell you, having covered him in San Francisco, that guy was in his office and that's it. Like, Jim Harbaugh is not an organizational. He's not a leader. So guys like Matt Weiss, nobody's looking over his shoulder being like, what are you doing with those nudes, bud? Like, nobody's doing that. Nobody's telling Connor Stallions, wait. You sent people where to do what? No. That's because he's an incompetent leader. He's a terrible director of anything. Connor Stallions is a lead at his job. You turn that cat loose, he's going to go to work.
And he did.
So I understand.
And again.
I understand that you idiots that are Michigan fans and who don't want to disavow Jim Harbaugh, you just take that to your grave, dude. You just keep talking about a championship that nobody recognizes. Not going to strip any titles, not going to put asterisks in record books. You know why? Because we don't have to. We know you weren't the best team that year.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have a good coaching staff. You had no leadership in the coach's room. None. Nada. So we don't have to. Connor shouldn't be allowed to work in sports at all anymore. No, that's completely false. Connor Stallions needs structure. He's a United States Marine. Tell him what to do and tell him what parameters to operate in, and he's going to do it at a very high level. If I were a football coach, fuck yeah, I'd call Connor Stallions. Not to steal signs, to analyze the opposition. I worked with a guy in St. Louis named John Hadley. I needed a stat. That's the guy I'm calling. Mike Martz and the Rams employed John Hadley for statistical analysis, probabilities, tendencies. You need guys like Connor Stallions. You want guys like Connor Stallions. Now, maybe I'm too Full Metal Jacket and A Few Good Men, but let's delve in together. You want Connor Stallions on your coaching staff.
Yeah.
You need him. You don't want to publicize it. You don't want to be proud about it because now he's got a scarlet letter. But you want to put a golden dome on him? And you want him to analyze legally, fair, and by the rules the opposition every week? Where do I send my donation?
Couldn't agree more.
Because I want him. He's elite. He's an operator. He's damn good at what he does. Connor Stallions is a victim. He is not a perpetrator. He's a victim. My guess is it's possible Connor Stallions didn't even realize what he was doing was illegal because United States Marines don't use publicly available Venmo and ticket accounts.
Because it's illegal.
Has anybody thought about this shit? Somebody must have. Connor Stallions is anything but stupid. Have you not figured this out yet? He's not stupid. Connor Stallions isn't a guy that's like, man, I'm going to go rob that bank and I'm just going to walk in and I'm going to walk out. No. This guy's brilliant. I think there's a chance he didn't even know what he was doing was illegal.
He was serving. He was
doing
serving,
a job.
Doing a job, bro.
He was doing a job.
And, and I agree with you completely. I think that the Connor Stallions is just the side effect. Jim Harbaugh and that staff's culture and that program, those several years is the cancer. And I think that, honestly, when you said that you weren't excited about football tonight, I thought you were going to say it was because, douchebag was going to be all over the TV. Not that the football was going to suck. And I would have understood that. But, I think that I just think that things happen in college football. But this is something that has been handled really poorly by the NCAA, in my opinion. Like at some point, I agree. The discipline has to come out sooner and more swiftly so that everyone can move on.
Yep.
However, I just think that this is such a deep story, bro. Like there's so many. The Matt Weiss angle, the Connor Stallions angle,
the Matt Weiss
Harbaugh thing.
The Matt Weiss thing is 5,000 million trillion times worse than anything Connor Stallions did, and I'm including vacuums in that, right? I mean, are you out of your mind? Now, did Connor Stallions know he was breaking rules at Central Michigan? Yeah, he did. Well, why else were you wearing a Central Michigan uniform with dark sunglasses? Well, they have allegedly recording devices in them, but
because it's illegal.
But make no mistake about it. Connor Stallions is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, the packages he put together.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Johnny, pretty sure all 22 cut off the sidelines, Monty. Okay. Even if that's what you're going to go with and ask yourself, hey, the all 22 cuts off the sidelines. The all 22 I've seen does not cut off the sidelines. And I've watched a massive amount of all 22s. But I can tell you, and if you don't know this, here it is. The way that film exchanges work, it's not Jimmy going over to Paul's house and dropping off a couple of Betamax cassettes. It's a database. And you are required to upload certain type of film into that database. Everything you do is being filmed. In game, you know your sidelines are being filmed. Your huddles are being filmed. Your coaches are being filmed in the box. It's all being filmed. And as Connor Stallions, I believe, said on his own, if you get your signs stolen, you're stupid. And now that's not a problem because we're all wearing in-helmet communications. If you get your signs stolen, you're stupid. Like that's a you problem. But if you're going to sit here for a second and believe that the film package that is delivered each week to the database doesn't include signaling, you're crazy. And it's not even, as Connor Stallions has said, it's not even the signaling part of it that is so easy to rip off. It's the formation. Football is formations and tendencies. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. When you analyze films of teams, you as a fan, you watch games. When I watch football games, because of the training that I've had and the experience I have, wow. Here's some breaking news. Terry McLaurin has officially requested a trade from the Washington Commanders.
Mm.
You knew this was going to happen. You knew this was going to happen. Terry McLaurin has officially requested a trade. I don't understand these teams that don't want to pay Trey Hendrickson and Terry McLaurin
And Shamar
Stewart. Yeah. But when you analyze a football game to glean information instead of enjoy explosive plays, you're not watching the quarterback. You're watching the running back in many different ways. When they are in this formation and the right tackle is staggered off the line, I've got a tight end offset, and I've got let's say a bunch to the right and a single left. The running back is to the right hip of the quarterback who's in the shotgun. What are their tendencies? Well, I guarantee you every football department has this. 64.9% of the time, he fakes a handoff and throws directly to the left to a wide receiver who's coming in and getting a pin down block from this guy. 12% of the time, they simply ball fake and hand it off to the running back who goes off tackle right. Like, they know every play that you run out of every formation, but the elite guys pay attention to how quickly, like there is, and you'll think I'm crazy. Trust me, I'm not. I've seen the tape. They measure how many seconds it takes the left guard to cover ground to get to the B gap on the right side. They know, hey, I've got 2.5 seconds as a linebacker to fill that gap before the right guard is going to beat me there. And your job in its entirety, when you see that formation, is to make sure that your key as a linebacker is on that right guard. Because you know how in loud environments, the guards will fire a hand to tell the center to snap the ball?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times that's also a blocking signal. Or watch the hands of the tackle. Is it on his hip or is it on his knee? Like, you guys don't watch that stuff. You don't watch where the safety is. And what is the tendency of the safety when he's within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I think that, the NFL is notorious for this. And it does happen in college football. I just feel like we don't hear about it as much in college football. But like, if you watch an NFL Films episode or, there are a variety of ways to get it. But, like there was one on Luke Kuechly where he talked about knowing, the tendencies of a certain quarterback and like how his, like, basically like the way he was leaning was which way they were going to go. And like, just all this little
baiting
stuff.
Brett Favre had a massive tell. Baiting Brett Favre in interceptions.
Yeah, like, I mean, so all that stuff happens all the time. And this has been the gripe with Michigan fan is that the issue has never been stealing the signs.
No.
That happens every day. Like, the issue is the way you went about it and how extra and how far you took it. That's the issue. So I just don't think it's that complicated.
And I just wish that people understood the best football teams have the best analysts, and that's what separated Connor Stallions. I don't know that he is. I have no idea how he got the job and like who knew who to get who, where, and when. But all I know is when you go through, and the Marines are a perfect example. I know so many Marines. When you go through Marine boot camp, it changes who you are as a person. And you learn certain things mentally. You become a different, tougher mental person. That's why guys like Connor Stallions succeed.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many former FBI people that work in the NFL, because you need that mentality to win at football. So I'm telling you, Connor Stallions, and you can victimize him, and I'm sure Ohio State fans hate it. You can victimize him all you want. The guy, frankly, is in my mind an invaluable part of a football department. And if Notre Dame, the Chicago Bears, I don't give a rat's ass who, anybody wants to hire him that I'm a fan of, I'm here for it. Tell me where to send my donation. I'm happy to do it. It is what it is. Patrick Roybal, the NCAA is so inept. Murder is allowed in Baylor. Judas SoCal schools, gyno perverts. Pedo State covered up a decade plus. Michigan State gymnastics. It's wild to me.
It's embarrassing, dude.
It is. It truly is wild to me. Burn the couch. I'm here for the CMU slander, but we're calling Connor Stallions a great hire now. No, I didn't say he was a great hire. I said he was really good at his job. He's really good at his job to the point where his analysis overcame incompetence in the coaching staff. Because, again, this is why I always tell you, I'm not a fan of Michigan, Ohio State. I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, my opinion is Michigan was the most talented football team that year. They had the best roster. And they had absolutely horrendous coaching. Their advantage was they knew what the other team was going to do every time they snapped the football on both sides of the football. So you can say Connor Stallions from point A to point B is a blur on that one. You don't have to agree. I don't care if you agree. You can't make the case that he's bad at his job.
No, because he's not.
There is
that's the only reason we're talking about this, right?
Yes.
I mean, if he was crappy at his job, nobody would care because they wouldn't have had the signs.
Connor Stallions was so good at his job, he pissed off the other team to the point where they were embarrassed and humiliated. Is that Connor Stallions' fault? No, it is not. When I tell you to do a job, you go and do that job to the best of your abilities, and he did. So you can sit here and you could say, oh, now he's a great hire, and I didn't say he was a great hire. I said he was really good at his job. And he was really good at his job. So, like, I don't know how you guys lack common sense. And I don't even know who you're a fan of, but how do you lack the common sense to look at it analytically and say, was Connor Stallions good at his job? And if you say no, please don't ever watch another football game. If you say no, Connor Stallions was not good at his job, institutionalize yourself. Put yourself into a 5150 hold because you're out of your mind. And I'm concerned that you're a danger to yourself and others because there's nobody that can objectively analyze what Connor Stallions did and say he did a bad job. Now, does that mean that Jim Harbaugh was good at his job? No,
that's what birthed Connor Stallions.
Yes, the incompetence of Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, hey, I can't beat Ohio State. I need something. Yeah, that's where Connor Stallions came in.
Because Ohio State, no football coach with any kind of balls or soul would allow Connor Stallions to go and film in other stadiums or set up an operation to
a
film
paper trail
and do it in publicly available accounts. But Jim Harbaugh was so incompetent, he wasn't paying attention. Work with me just a little bit. Work with me.
Or I'm really starting to come around to this. I just think they don't care. They could not care less about whether they get in trouble or not because what did he know? He knew that he'd be leaving the game anyway.
And again, this is why I point to Jim and John Harbaugh, who both employed Matt Weiss. Do you think Matt Weiss was just doing that during his time at Michigan? Do you think that Matt Weiss was just all of a sudden turned into a horrendous victimizer of young people in this country by breaking into their social media accounts and stealing nude photos of them?
Come on.
Do you think that just happened when he rolled up in Ann Arbor? Because my opinion is it probably started before that. You know, like when he spent time with John Harbaugh, who also doesn't fucking win. You know, that guy who said today that Lamar Jackson is as good a quarterback as ever played the game. You know, that guy who won't defend the people of Baltimore. You know, that guy, John Harbaugh. Yeah. Matt Weiss worked for both of them because they're scumbags. That's who they are. We're not good enough to win on our own, so let's do everything we can. And then when we get caught, we're going to throw our hands up and say, it was cheeseburgers for hungry kids. Right? Like, what are you talking about? Hey, look, cock on thighs back. All right. Epstein U.
Present.
What up, dude?
Epstein University.
Length and girth.
Yeah, nobody cares what you have to say. Jedi Buck. Matt Weiss is buddies with Connor. Sure he is. Now, or used to be. Used to be. Let's see. The Natural thought that was funny. You're welcome. Sad face. I'm a fan of redemption, but has Connor been redeemed for cheating? He took a job to cheat. He's a cheater.
No, see, I disagree. I don't think he took the job knowing he was going to cheat. I think he took the job because he had such a sense to serve Michigan that he had to take a job with Michigan. And then one thing led to another, and they were terrible, and all of a sudden there was a need. How are we going to get over the top on Ohio State in the Big Ten? Oh, we're going to do an illegal sign stealing, operation.
No, I don't even think it's that. I think it is, and this is totally conjecture in my opinion. Yeah, we got this analyst. He's a huge Michigan fan. He really wants to. He really wants to be a data guy. All right, well, turn him loose. Let's see what he can do. And then he showed up with a bunch of information, and they had no idea how he got it. Why did they immediately fire him? Has anybody asked that question too? Why did the Michigan University immediately turn around and fire Connor Stallions? Did they defend him at all? No. Did they scapegoat him? Yeah. What if I told you? What if I told you they had no idea what he was doing? What if I told you Jim Harbaugh was wholly unaware of the sign stealing operation? That's a real possibility. That's how checked out Jim Harbaugh is on his football program. I think he likes working with quarterbacks, and that's what he focuses on. And his defense was good. He had a really good defensive coordinator, and they were talented. And I don't think Jim Harbaugh, because Jim Harbaugh doesn't care about other humans. Jim Harbaugh doesn't value the analyst on his football staff. He just wants a packet that he's probably not going to read. So then Connor just started doing his job. And this is my guess. Connor just started doing his job. And then he showed up for week 1 and they were preparing and he was like, yeah, here's what this play means. And you guys probably want to be here. And I got to believe at some point, Jim Harbaugh's like, who is this fucking guy? Shut up. Shut up. I'm talking.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
And then somebody like Sharon Moore, somebody's like, well, hey, coach, he actually knows who he's talking about. Maybe
Come on, man. What is he talking about?
Maybe just eat the cheeseburger, coach.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Let him share his information. And then they figured out there was a light bulb moment like, oh.
I don't regret those decisions.
So wait, you know what the signal is. You know that signal equates to this formation. And out of that formation, 67% of the time, they pleasure themselves in the backfield.
We really did.
And while they're doing that, the left tackle is moving left at less than 7 miles an hour. And our linebacker has 38 seconds to get to that gap. Well,
hot damn,
mother. I'm sorry, little man. What's your name again? My guess is that's how it went down.
Sign stealer guy.
Jim Harbaugh sucks. He's not a good coach. He's not a good leader. And he has no ability to analyze anything but the quarterback position. So then you bring in a guy from the Marines who's a huge Michigan fan, who has an analytic mind. That's my guess. So Jim Harbaugh has zero control of his coaching staff.
How about that?
Zero control over the football department. His only concern is quarterback play and hungry kids who need cheeseburgers.
Fat.
I'm just trying to feed some kids and win football games.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with computers or sign stealing. Me? I mean,
What?
I just wanted to make sure the cheese was melted on the burger before we knocked it down with a Coke.
Matt Weiss is looking at high school nude kids? What? No, that's at Penn State. Where they... What do you mean the Sanduskification of Michigan football?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And that's
How the
how I
cookie
think
crumbled.
And that's how I think it happened. Does that mean Connor Stallions is innocent? No. Did Connor Stallions break a bunch of rules? Yes. Was he shitty at his job? No. No, he was not.
No, he wasn't.
He was in fact elite at his job. So this does not change my opinion that the University of Michigan is a bunch of scumbags.
He's got no class.
Who oppress people's First Amendment rights on their campus. This does not change my opinion that Jim Harbaugh is absolutely a scumbag and a liar who's not very good at coaching football teams. This does not change my opinion that Matt Weiss should rot in hell for the rest of his life for what he did to those people.
Facts.
This does not change my opinion that Ward Manuel is a terrible, horrendous athletic director who has multiple scandals across multiple sports and oversaw one of the worst college football playoff selection processes ever. None of that changes. Does this mean Connor Stallions is a nice little guy? Have no idea. I've never met him.
No, I guess not.
Does this mean he is honest and full of ethics? Nope.
I doubt that.
But does it mean he's shitty at his job? Nah, that's going too far. So there you go. Santa Ono, exactly right, who is unemployed and can't get a job. The Connor apologist take is a first for me. Nobody cares because it's not an apologist take. It's, I know this is tough, and I have no idea who you're even a fan of.
How do you not get this, dude?
Who's apologizing for Connor Stallions?
How is this hard to understand?
Yeah,
why are you struggling to comprehend this? Maybe you need to go to the Connor Stallions School of Digesting Information.
And if we're such apologists, you don't have to be here. There's 110,000 people watching the show.
The Apologist Show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fans of Ohio State, clearly. We're huge Buckeye fans, even though
Ohio State?
You actually made Michigan fan. You actually made us Buckeye fan. And Will Howard. But, and Lloyd Carr and Carr. Never mind. Never lie, never cheat, never steal. Jim Harbaugh. Right?
What do you mean, dude?
There is a scenario where Jim Harbaugh is like, okay, yeah, do what you got to do. I want those signals.
Lying, and then playing the victim.
Do what you got to do, kid.
Just don't talk to me about it.
You said your name was Cambria? No, Connor, sir.
Sign stealer guy.
All right, dickhead, you go do what you need to do.
Hey, Jim, Jim McElwain, bud, did everything go okay over there on the sideline the other night? I just want to make sure we're good. I mean, I don't know who was on the sideline, but
And the best part of it is, with this CMU thing, and that's the story of the day here, you guys, is that Central Michigan allegedly brought Connor Stallions in for one game against Michigan State. Jim Harbaugh destroys everything he touches. Everything. Stanford, 49ers, Michigan football. And now he's in LA when he should be in San Diego, but the Chargers are owned by scumbags. Who couldn't afford to build their own stadium, so now they rent time from the Rams. Yep, birds of a feather.
Man, just a bunch of winners there.
And the best part is, again, I get to say, I was right. Jim Harbaugh's a scumbag. Oh, he didn't know, Monty, that Connor went to, okay, he's a scumbag and he should be fired. But Monty, he was just trying to help. Okay, so he's a scumbag. But Monty, he should be fired. Doesn't matter. He knew, he didn't know. Scumbag should be fired.
Yeah.
Excommunicated from college altogether. And I'm here for it.
Oh, that's right. He didn't need to be because he ran his ass off to the NFL and didn't want to absorb any of the punishment that inevitably is going to come down.
And don't forget, Santa Claus Ono tried to make him the highest paid head coach in the history of college football.
Yeah,
and
quite the knee padding job there, bud.
Jim still said no. So we're going to do it or die trying. That's right. Stadium guy James, my entry is in, headed to Alabama. Alabama. Yeah, let's get our Venmos rolling. Advocates donations. We are raising money today for homeless kids to have school supplies, and I mean basic school supplies. Oak State James. Monty kids, I'm at Clemson, and I just saw Connor Stallions wearing orange. Apparently, he's here to help Clemson beat LSU in week 1. I also saw Coach Harbaugh give me a cheeseburger for the road. Hey, congratulations.
Hi, this is James. Welcome back.
P.S. Dabo said he would not give me NIL for wearing a Clemson shirt. Screw him.
We built this program on NIL.
Thank you for the $20. John Hamm.
Hamster.
What can I say that'll be rude about the Cubs? Anyway, what do you get when you combine all 40 Chicago Cubs with 40 lesbians? 80 people that don't do dick.
Wow, man. Should we just let him do the show? Well, I mean, wow, dude. I mean, just an incredible. And you know what's funny about this? I had the chance to not put this on the screen because you prefaced it by saying, well, hey, I don't know if this is appropriate. I don't know if we should be making, what did you say over here? Lesbian jokes. I had the opportunity not to put that on the screen, John. And I want you to know, I did put it on the screen intentionally because I want you to know you don't have to make that kind of joke. That kind of joke isn't funny. Now, I appreciate the donation. I appreciate you helping the kids. That's what we're all here to do. That's what makes the program possible, right? You guys watching the show, us making a difference in the community. Like, that's what the show is about. But do you not have any other material? Is there not? Could you not do a Connor Stallions bit? Could you not do an Ohio State bit? Could you not? How have we not gotten a Dave Aranda bomb yet in the donation section? So all I'm saying is there's really no reason to be making those kind of jokes. I think you have better material. There's a lot of things to make jokes about. And I don't know. I just don't think it's probably the right thing to be doing, bud.
Go back to
like
Steve Bartman. Like, I don't understand guys like John who have to be disgusting. I don't get that. But Monty for $50, Dave Aranda tossing victims relief fund. Now, that's funny.
That's funny, dude.
That's funny.
Wolf of Wall Street.
That's funny and stuff. Like, it just, you guys, at some point, do we ever get over? And John Hamm's been on this show for a long time. He is a long-time listener of this show.
Long-time listener.
Long-time listener. First-time misogynist.
Joke maker.
Exactly.
Like, come on, dude.
Like, at some point, John, I would think that you would soften and not be such a red ass. Because your donation is huge. Like, it really, really matters. It makes a huge difference in people's lives. And I don't want to put it back up there real quick. $10, dude, do you know how much money that is to a homeless kid? Like, do you realize how much money that is? Like, it's so awesome that you donate, John, every time. Like, you support our initiatives, and then you make lesbian jokes, and it drives me crazy. Because if that's what you believe, cool, man. You're entitled. This is America. Freedom is freedom. You are free to feel that way. Just don't. Why mix the two? You're helping homeless kids with a lesbian joke. That's crazy to me. Maury Alvarez, of course, 1320K fan. Water is wet and Michigan are cheating scumbags.
Well,
yeah,
right?
Let's go.
Right? Like, it's true.
Oh, that is so funny.
I mean, come on.
That is so good, Maury Alvarez. I appreciate that. Make sure you get on Venmo. Don't disparage people. Just
unless they're Michigan fans.
Unless they're Michigan or Penn State fans. And I'd remind you, a human being reads these memo sections. Jennifer at the Advocates reads these memo sections. Advocates donations. And again, there's 110,000 people watching this show right now, you guys. Let that sink in. What if just 1,000 of us gave $10? 100 of us gave $10. And even if you just want to give, don't mention us. But that $10 goes right to homeless kids. And I see a lot of you making donations without mentioning. And that's great, you guys. That is fantastic. I have no problem with you doing that. I don't need the credit. I don't even care. I want to raise money for kids that have no other way to take care of themselves. And if we can do that through anonymous donations, let's go. I'm happy to do it. I just, John. Oh, John, I can see your memo section. Anyway, so that's where we are. Thank you to everybody watching on X. Make sure you hit the heart button, give us a like, retweet the show. That really helps the channel grow. Follow us on X. Come and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up on the channel as well. Chris George, to Jennifer, we're sorry. Sign the Monty crew. We apologize. Take our money, but you're not going to like the memos, right?
Apologize to that man.
New Mexico Buckeye. I'm a Central Michigan graduate, and I'm absolutely disgusted by Central Michigan allowing this to happen. That's got to be a tough one to take. Did they win that game? I don't remember what happened.
Does it not bother you he's standing up there on the dais, absolutely lying his ass off?
You believe that?
100% I believe that. There's no way, no how that Connor Stallions, a guy that well known in the football world, is on your sideline and you don't know about it. I don't buy it for a second.
I have a tough time believing that. I don't
buy it for a second.
And I think it's awfully difficult when you start trying to make excuses. When you start trying to make excuses for something that that there's no excuse for. And when you show a complete lack of moral turpitude for doing that, it's wild to me. I really just hope that at some point Michigan fan comes to grips with what a scumbag that program is right now. I don't think it will. I really don't think it will. But listen, if that's where we are, I think everybody who's not a Michigan fan understands that.
Yeah.
And Michigan State won that game 31-7.
Oh.
It didn't go that easy, right? Katie Rader, what's up? Chicken lips and snake hips. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean,
Sad face. Hey, what is going on with PSG? Did you guys see how many players that they're making available? Am I the only one that saw that today? Or was that yesterday that PSG is going to essentially rebuild. They're going to, and I think it's probably going to start this window. Gianluigi Donnarumma, their goalkeeper, who is world class, is probably going to wind up leaving PSG. Now, is that for Manchester United? Could be. Is that? I don't know, but PSG is in a very interesting place right now, dude. I think Jim's greatest sin was keeping Alex benched in the Super Bowl while Kaepernick was making rookie mistakes. I was in the locker room the day that was announced, and there are a lot of 49ers who wish that had gone differently. And I'm not one that disagrees. I think it was probably too early and not communicated properly to leadership. But Cap makes one throw on the goal line. That whole thing is differently. I mean, Jim Harbaugh's legacy is different. He probably never leaves. He probably never ends up at Michigan, rather. He leaves, but he probably never ends up at Michigan. Does anyone really believe UM will be punished in a way that will really hurt them outside of scholarship loss? I don't, because you need to hit them financially. What needs to happen is they need a multi-year postseason ban. And I just don't know that wow, look at that. The Cubs DFA'd Ryan Presley. Yeah. You think? I mean,
so yeah,
Ryan Presley sucked for the Cubs. Terrible. Because they should have give back every penny of the CFP money. That's not going to happen. They're not going to lose their championship. They're not. There could be a fine what you need to do is have a the equivalence of or an outright multi-year postseason ban. And if you can limit their recruiting, if you can limit their off-campus activities, which a lot of people think is going to happen, if you put show cause notices on the entirety of the staff, which means the coordinators and Jim Harbaugh that are a decade long, you effectively do that. You effectively cripple Michigan's ability to recruit and scale their program. But the problem is the Big Ten is going to fight that all day long because they know that they don't have depth in that conference. They actually need Michigan to be good. This is what I said about Tony Petitti the other week, and everybody's like, see, he knows we're innocent. He's defending Michigan. Not so fast, my friends. What was he actually doing? Oh, he was doing his job and sticking up for the Big Ten. And he was actually defending everybody but Michigan with those statements. So, Donnarumma to the Prem. I don't know where, but hopefully Crystal Palace go Eagles. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I think he winds up at United or Chelsea. And I think it's probably United because they still have not whatever's wrong at United, you're going to have to figure that out. And I don't know how you fix that. I know he went to UM knowing all this, but poor Dusty May has men's basketball rolling going into this season, and this is the headlines. Michigan basketball didn't have to
earn it, dude.
But didn't have a terrible year, right? Like,
not a terrible year, but I mean, you gotta make noise.
You do have to make noise.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. All right. Let's keep our donations rolling today. Again, I appreciate everybody who's donated. Advocates donations on Venmo. Who do we have in the lead so far? We need about $250 in the next 45 minutes or so. I actually think James is in contention here today. Wait, you're not.
Do you know what that's like these days?
You're not happy about that.
I
think James is in contention.
I just want a fresh name, dude.
I don't think John Hamm's in contention.
No. I don't mind that.
Dave Aranda tossing victims relief fund is definitely in contention.
That's funny.
We'll see. Like Maury with the water is wet and Michigan is cheating scumbags.
Some fresh names. Come on.
We're at $120.
More contributions.
Yeah, we're at $120, and the $100 Amazon gift card is wide open to be won. Randy riding for $100. Sorry, Monty, no Venmo. Please pass this on to help the kids from this Southern Ute fan. I grew up as a kid with the brown paper bag lunch. Yeah, those were the days. I sincerely feel for these kids, and I feel blessed to be able to help. I appreciate that. And you guys, this is the essence of what we're doing today, because I think when you look at what a kid goes through, and I know I said this yesterday, and a lot of you DM me about this. When you see a kid that hasn't showered, probably doesn't smell great, doesn't have on nice clothes, and I've told the story about the kid I went to school with who didn't have underwear and the humiliation that was, I'll never forget that. I know how tough that is when you can see the pain in that kid's face when somebody knocks the books out of their hands because they don't have a backpack. And who's going to defend him? He's the kid that smells weird. He's the kid that looks weird. He's the kid that doesn't have on nice clothes. That kid doesn't even wear underwear. Who cares? Right? That's what we're trying to stop, because those kids are in a situation that is no fault of their own. Right? Their parents are in whatever situation they're in. That shouldn't be punishing a kid because your parents lost their job or are battling addiction or mental health. Let's stop that cycle. Let's donate. There's, again, 111,000 people watching the show right now. If everybody, just 100 of us right now, is it so difficult that 100 of us, of the 110,000 people watching this show right now, and X, I'm talking to you. We've had over 200,000 people watch the show on X today. I am asking you, Make a donation. $5, $10. If 100 of us gave $5, if 1,000 of us gave $5, if 100 of us gave $10, if 1,000 of us gave $10, that is life-altering money for kids. And I know that we're all fighting for what we're fighting for, our own homes.
Yeah.
Our own people. I totally understand that, man. But if you've got it in your wallet and in your heart, I ask you to please consider donating on Venmo. I ask you to please donate on Venmo. 100% of that money goes to the advocates who give it directly to the road home to give a hungry kid, a homeless kid, a kid without means, no way to defend himself, a backpack full of school supplies to go back to school this year, which starts in a week, 2 weeks in most school districts. Let's end it. Let's do it right now. Get on Venmo. Advocates donations. If you're listening on the audio podcast after this show is over, please consider donating. If you're on Facebook, X, YouTube, of course, our great YouTube following, please consider. Get on Venmo. Make a donation. If you want to compete for the $100 Amazon gift card, take a screenshot of your Venmo donation, send it to Jake. SLC Jake on Instagram. And coming up here in about 45 minutes, we'll give away a $100 Amazon gift card. Boy, it is crazy how many people are texting me about the Cubs.
And what's the sentiment?
You're an idiot for being a Cubs fan.
Well,
I mean, a guy that I know who shall remain nameless, because you are a real jerkwagon, sir. Are you done being an idiot Cubs fan now? Come over to the dark side. Root for the Padres full time.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Padres are kind of my second team. I'm a Cubs fan. I'm never leaving the Cubs.
And you're a season ticket holder. Like,
I'm never leaving the Cubs. Never leaving the Cubs. Like it hurts today. The Cubs did not make a move at the deadline. Fabian Ronch, greetings from Germany. What's up? What's up? Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Please consider subscribing to the show. The Natural, which may be a mistake if they do. What did you say? The only way you're going to get those details is if they try to appeal or take them to court after the ruling, which may be a mistake if they do. They won't. You'd have gone all the way to the bench to save Jim Harbaugh, and you didn't do that. You know, jobless Santa Ono, the oppressor of First Amendment rights on the Michigan campus.
And it sucks.
Aggravated failure to monitor carries a 1 to 3 year postseason ban per NCAA guidelines.
Man,
I'm saying.
I mean, you must have been studying the guidelines now that you're jobless, right? I mean, what's that like?
Yeah. Field Crew Dirt Dr. Cheese. I just want to know the details of the sweeper repair business and how Connor and RB got away with it.
RB.
So you'll remember little Buddy, the running back at Michigan.
Blake.
It's Balake. Blake Corum and Connor Stallions.
Vacuums are my thing.
That's Balake Corum.
Vacuums are my thing.
They were on an LLC filing. Where was it? Wyoming?
I believe so.
They were in a different state. Don't quote me. I can't remember what state it was, but they were on an LLC filing together. And Blake Corum denied that he ever signed the LLC documents. Vacuums aren't my thing. Because
vacuums are my thing.
It is a huge NCAA violation to be in business with a coach.
It's a big no-no.
A player and a coach cannot be in business together. So where's the forgery charges? I mean, that's federal.
Because it's illegal.
It's fraud across multiple state lines. It's a federal felony. Where are the charges? Where did anybody see the filing? When did you guys see when the federal agents arrested Connor Stallion? Oh, they didn't. That's right. And then mysteriously, that LLC was just disintegrated, disbanded.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
Huh, funny how that works. Wonder what happened to all those vacuums.
Empty. The opposite of full.
Well, suddenly, dude's blue Tundra in the driveway looked a lot more spacious now that the porch didn't have vacuums all over it. Who knew, Monty?
It's so crazy. Replica. PSG's owner don't want to pay big wages to players they consider divas. They paid Mbappe €1 million per week for 3 years, and he's still left for Real Madrid, and he's been invisible.
Hold on. Let's retread that. I thought you just said you paid a player €1 million per week, bro.
And Mbappe. The problem is, it's guys like Messi's a really good example of this. You want to know the pull that Messi has globally? We went to Chipotle last night for dinner. We're in line at Chipotle, and the guys in front of us are watching Inter Miami on their phone. And we're talking about Messi with them. I'm like, hey, what match you guys watching? Messi, and he's my idol. And this one guy's wearing a Messi shirt. And why didn't Messi ever go to England?
You said that?
No, but I'm just asking, why didn't Messi go to, why didn't Neymar ever go to England? Oh, because they're soft. That's right. They can't handle the physicality that's allowed in the Premier League. Why did Ronaldo thrive in the Premier League? Oh, that's right, because he's bigger and stronger.
Length and girth.
Ask your mom. The best players do it in England, and then when they prove they can do it in England, they can do it anywhere, right? The one exception is Eden Hazard, who went to Real Madrid and absolutely evaporated. PSG has as many as 11 guys being considered for transfer. Yeah, they do. And then PSG won the Champions League, but not the Club World Cup. Good to see you. Smiles and glory holes greater than length and girth.
No. Not a chance on God's green earth is Jera better than Buddy at Auburn.
Smiles and glory holes.
Stop texting me about the Cubs.
Length and girth.
You jackwagons.
Now I need more comments in the comments section about this take, because I don't agree at all.
No, I don't think they're any way, shape, and form. Length and girth is better than smiles and glory holes.
Length and girth.
I don't think there's any doubt. No doubt. John Blackwelder, the only places these shenanigans are acceptable are at Michigan in the executive branch of the government. Wow. God, I hope Wasikowski's not here. World Cup. Yep. I'm a Chelsea guy, actually. Are you really? Jake and I have been, and it's amazing. Field Crew Dirt Dr. Cheese. I haven't donated on the showgram, but wifey is a teacher. We, her and I, her fellow teachers and some others always put together school supplies, backpacks, clothes every school year. Dude, it's so hard. I don't think, and Jeremiah Champion, all the people that work in education on the show, we have a bunch of you guys. I don't think people truly understand how much money out of pocket it costs you to be a teacher. You know, like I think Jeremiah said yesterday, he feeds a lot of his kids on road trips because they don't have money. Right? Like you send your kid off on a band road trip and they don't have money to eat. And I can tell you, I've told this story on the show. My mom is quite literally batshit crazy. And when I was a kid, she took care of every kid in the neighborhood. My house was always the place you came to when you needed something. And I cannot tell you how many times she'd make a pot of mostaccioli and everybody would eat. She'd always have French bread. She'd have like the Parmesan cheese in the green bottle. I cannot tell you how many times all of my friends came over and ate mostaccioli at my house. And I've talked about this. I lived in a pretty affluent neighborhood growing up called Lincolnshire. And one of the kids I went to school with was broke ass. Came over to my house, like ate. My mom took care of him, like gave him some of my clothes. Like we took care of that kid. And you just have no idea how many of those kids are in your son's class or daughter's class. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And they're not going to say, hey, Dirt Dr. Cheese, like, can I have some of your peanut butter crackers? Because we're broke and I don't have any food. Do you know how difficult it is for a kid to say that? My mom used to so I was the great destroyer of lunchboxes. I had so many cool lunchboxes, and I'll never forget, you remember the TV show Emergency? I had the best emergency lunchbox. And I don't know why but me and a friend of mine, like, I threw it and it broke, and my mom was like, that's it, you're done. And she started giving me brown paper bags. But so she would put a little thing called a Star Crunch, which was my favorite. Dude, you give me a fruit punch Capri Sun and a Star Crunch, and I don't care what else you put in the bag. Like, those two things, this kid could run for days. And I took it for granted. I took for granted. Like, I loved, this is going to be the worst thing I've ever said on the show. Are you guys prepared? I loved liverwurst. Loved it. My mom would make me a liverwurst sandwich like once a month. Liverwurst with mayo and cheddar cheese. Cut it in half, put it in a sandwich bag, it'd be there. Like, I loved it. I always took it for granted. Always took it for granted. And then when my kid went to school, I was always sending him lunch money. And then when Jake is my son, when he got to high school, we would go out to lunch together after school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just take it for granted that there are kids who would die for that opportunity. Not every day. They would just die for it one time because they don't have it. And it's just really tough. San Diego State Glen. Mrs. Aztec is an educator. Monty, trust me, I know how many of my Mesa Fund dollars go to room 17. Dude, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Length and girth has more length and girth, in my opinion.
Length and girth.
See? That's what I'm saying. Big Daddy Magic. Mesa is soccer player. Okay, Timmy. I don't know what that means, but okay. Okay. Wait, Jack is your son since when exactly?
Brother.
Exactly. Brother. King of Thailand. Homeless guy today pushing his cart. Known him 4 years now. Gave to him when we see him. Today I saw him and gave him today's donation, but did give it yesterday. Oh, no, dude, you're fine. You always donate, Thailand. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I really appreciate all of you donate. And I'm not trying to belabor the point, but it just hurts my heart that and I'm not being an asshole about this, I promise. I roll around in a really nice car. And yesterday, we were driving down my street. And again, I live in a community where there's a bunch of like big green fields. And kids play in these fields all the time. And there was a group of kids playing down at the end of my street in this huge park it's like a bunch of grass surrounded by houses. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, there's about a dozen kids in there. By percentage, 2 of them don't know where their next meal is coming from. That's how much it weighs on me. And I just look at all of the people I know that are in education, and dude, it's expensive for them to be teachers. And we don't even think about that. We don't even think about do you know how many teachers bring snacks to their classroom because their kids don't have food? Do you know how many teachers want to educate kids, but kids show up without the basic necessities to compete in the classroom? Can't take notes if you don't have a notepad. Can't take notes if you don't have pens and pencils. What happens when you get into high school and you need an algebra calculator? What happens when you get into that class where you need a protractor and the thing that spins around and makes circles and stuff? You know how many kids don't have those? Who do you think buys those? You think that teacher gets it from the school district when she's got like 5 protractors on her desk? Who do you think buys all those extra pencils she's giving to kids? And then we wonder why our test scores are so low. It's wild. Wifey spends a lot. There are 3 kids in a family last year where the teachers were sending various food items home while the shitty parents were taking that food for themselves. And you just can't understand why parents do it. You just cannot understand it. And it's one of the things we've talked about before I move on, because I'm not trying to belabor this point. But when you go, as we have, when you go and deliver boxes of food you can tell the parents who are wearing the fact that their kids are hungry.
Yeah, it's absolute relief.
And then there are those parents who are like, all right, great, thanks. And they don't want you to come inside the house, and they're going to close the door, which is fine. It's not a judgment. I just hope you give that kid some food. Right?
Yeah.
But you can tell when you buy Christmas gifts for a family, and we usually do it every year on this show, we'll adopt one family. You can tell the families that are like, there was one year where we gave, it was like $200 in toys. This family had 3 kids. One was a newborn. And one of the things we bought were the little booty socks for the baby. You know what I mean? Like the tiny socks a baby wears. And the mother was sobbing because like she was covering her kid's feet. I live in a winter climate. Salt Lake City, it gets cold here. She was like covering the kid's feet with a blanket because they didn't have socks.
Yeah, it's tough.
And that's when you realize like that lady's doing her best, but she's got 3 kids and her husband's unemployed and she's driving DoorDash at night. Like she was driving DoorDash at night. Like you're trying and you're making an honest effort. You're probably not equipped to do well. Okay, well, I'm happy to help with that. But unfortunately, that's not what everybody is. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All right. Let's reset. Today is Major League Baseball trade deadline day. I don't think there's any question now that it's over. Who would you say won the deadline?
Probably the Padres, I would say. I mean, I think, the Astros, yeah, they had a nice day, but I think that the Padres, they did well. They're better. I still think, like Nestor Cortez is an example. Like Nestor Cortez, do you guys remember Nestor Cortez gave up that Freddie Freeman home run?
Oh, yeah.
The iconic home run.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I'm not sitting here like, oh, man, that's just an amazing acquisition. Yeah, is it another arm? Yeah. But, you're going to have to be better. And I still maintain baseball is a sport that you got to go out and prove that you can actually win ball games with the talent you have because you just never know. And so I think the Padres had the best day. But I still think inevitably there's going to be a dark horse playoff team that catches fire in the middle of August and makes their run that we're not going to see coming. And it's going to make this trade deadline day look pretty mid, in my opinion, because I don't think there was some just massive the late Giants moves. The Yastrzemski move, unfortunately. Going to the Royals, that's tough.
That doesn't make a lot of sense for the Royals because I don't see the Royals coming back in that division.
No, I that's purely hey, let's get something that's exciting for our fans. In my opinion, that's what that is. But
I think Seattle with Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor, 2 deals, didn't have to give up a top 10 prospect to get it done. I think my opinion is that the Philadelphia Phillies, I think it is when you look at Wheeler Sanchez and Ranger Suarez, and then you add some guys that you desperately needed help in the bullpen. Jordan Romano with a 6.81 ERA. You needed help. I think that it absolutely makes an incredible move out of a guy like Duran to get that done. I think that's an immediate upgrade. And obviously the San Diego Padres. I mean, it is unbelievable that they got Mason Miller. I mean, he is a good closer. I think it's interesting that he didn't, I don't believe they traded Dylan Cease. No. But they get Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano from Baltimore. Freddie Furman from the Royals, I think, is a really nice move. I think the Dodgers are dinged up and in some pretty significant distress. Padres have 6 weeks to go on a run and make this a division. And I think they can do that. I think the Mets are interesting. Obviously, the Astros, Carlos Correa, Jesus Sanchez. I don't know how you argue with that. They get a left-handed bat. They get Ramon Urias as a utility guy, which I think is huge.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees, I think the Yankees actually did well. I think Ryan McMahon is interesting. I think he can play him a lot. He's already been pretty good for them. Jose Caballero has some depth in the infield. I think Jake Bird, that's a guy I wanted on the Cubs, frankly. But Austin Slater, I think Austin Slater's a nice little pickup. I think that's good. David Bednar as a closer, the back end of that bullpen's always been a problem. I think there's a lot that you can look at. I don't think there's any doubt that the Cubs are the big loser today. I look at Michael Soroka and Andrew Kittredge, and I ask myself, what were we doing? What were we doing?
Not what you should have been.
They didn't want to pay. No Eugenio Suarez, no Merrill Kelly. We have a loaded farm system in Double and Triple A, and the Cubs spent none of it. And you have probably the best offense and defense in baseball, and you have zero pitching. And you did nothing to fix that. Because I think while Kittredge is a nice pickup, Soroka hasn't been on a good team in 4 years. And I could make the argument he's never been on a good team.
Right.
And I'm just supposed to believe you're going to slot him in. He's not a top of the rotation guy. Matthew Boyd's going to continue to be your number one. Shota Imanaga is going to be your number two. And now I would guess Soroka is going to slot in as your third starter. We're fucked. That's it. There's no, we will not win the NL Central, and I don't believe the Cubs will go to the playoffs. I don't. You look at what everybody else did, because look at who I mentioned ahead of them. You look in the wild card, there's no question that the Mets, Phillies, and Padres are all teams that are competing for divisions. And if not divisions, they're competing for wild card spots. Right. And the idea that the Cubs did absolutely nothing at the deadline is just shocking.
I just think it's unacceptable. And the hard part is clearly they're not committed to winning a World Series, but I just don't think in the big picture, they're really pressing. If you were really man, I'm really trying to win a World Series, and I'm really, at least trying to get to a National League, championship series. You'd have gone out and got pitching. There was pitching available, clearly. You'd have gone out and got a bat. They dumped Yastrzemski, dude. How do you justify that? And I understand that you've got Kyle Tucker, totally get it. Yastrzemski could play a different position.
I'm just really curious, the Tigers. I don't know, that the Tigers don't feel like winners on deadline day because you did nothing to fix your bullpen, which has been a flipping disaster, right? That bullpen's been horrendous. It has really hurt the Detroit Tigers. Chris Paddock, Charlie Morton. All right. You're going to, Reese Olson doesn't feel like such a loss now, right? But it doesn't feel like they did enough to help themselves be contenders. You got a 9-game lead in the Central. That's not going anywhere, right? You're not going to lose the Central, but are you going to win in the playoffs? I don't care about losing the Central. Are you winning in the playoffs? You're probably not, because the bullpen has been brutal. And I love to say, I think the Brewers have to be in that conversation of teams that didn't do enough at the deadline as well. I don't understand. Kerry Carpenter coming back helps. They just wanted to secure the bullpen. They did not secure the bullpen, though. What did the Tigers do to secure the bullpen? If you look at, again, the Tigers have a 9-game lead over the Gardos in the Central.
Which is going to get bigger.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere. The question is, look at your pitching. And furthermore, look at the guys who have appeared in a lot of games. Bro, you have a lot of 3 and 4 ERAs out of the bullpen. You look at Tyler Holton, who's pitched in 46 games with a 3.40. Okay, that's fine. Tommy Kahnle, 45 games, 4.81 ERA. Right? You start looking at guys that, Will Vest, 16 saves, But you look at the fact that as a closer, he's got a 2.53 ERA. That's not good. Not for a leverage guy, right? You look at Chase Lee, 4.10. Bo Brisky, 22 games and a 6.5. Like, you just start realizing that the earned runs that bullpen has given up, dude, like 20 earned runs, 17 earned runs out of Hannafy. Canley's given up 23 earned runs in 43 innings. That is a mound of earned runs. That is a lot of earned runs. 17 earned runs out of Chase Lee, right? Like, you have bullpen arms that are pushing Tarek Skubal at 31 earned runs, and he's a starter, and he's pitched 133 innings. They didn't need starting pitching. It's why we asked when the Paddock trade happened, is he going to be a reliever? But you wonder. Replica, DeGrom, Evaldi, Merrill Kelly will be a very strong 3, but is Evaldi going to be able to pitch? How healthy is he? I agree. Merrill Kelly's a really good move for the Rangers. I like it a lot.
I think the contrast, let's assume Evaldi is healthy. The contrast of 2 flamethrowers to Merrill Kelly is nice.
That's big. Yeah, I agree. And I think your bullpen help makes a lot of sense. A lot. Glenn says dark horse MLB team will come out of nowhere for the American League this year. Well, I think it's the Astros now. And is that really a dark horse team? Probably not. Right. But if you look at the best of the best in the American League, I think the Blue Jays are the best team in baseball right now. Obviously their record says that, in the way they've played, but you have to start wondering, what does the Shane Bieber deal do for the Blue Jays? Can you afford to plug him right in?
And I suppose it depends how he pitches, right?
If he pitches, and he's been really good in his rehab starts. He's been excellent.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if he pitches well, then that deal all of a sudden becomes a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and I think that if you're a Tiger fan or a Jays fan, the thing that scares you is all the moves the Astros made today, because the Astros are only a game and a half off your hindquarters here, right? I think the Yankees are 3.5 out in the league standings anyway. The biggest disappointment for me in the American League is Boston, because I think you just didn't do enough. You didn't really do anything. Like, you got a couple of guys that I don't know that you can trust. And then I guess the question is, do you buy the Seattle Mariners offense now with an opportunity? Are they going to eat into a 5-game lead in the West? Man, I can't see them doing that. And they're going to hit a lot. Eugenio Suarez rolls out of bed and hits bombs. But you start looking at the wild card, they've got the 3rd wild card spot. But they're tied with the Rangers, big moves, right? The Rangers, and then it's the Guardians. The Guardians, the Royals, the Rays, they're done. They're dead. You're looking at an American League that's the Yankees, Red Sox, Mariners, and Rangers, and I really think it's the Yankees and the Rangers. Because I don't know that I believe the Mariners have the arms to win the arms race. They're going to outscore everybody.
Yeah.
But they give up far too many runs. And you look at the fact that the Rangers, do you guys understand the Rangers haven't given up 400 runs yet? They have not given up 400 runs yet. The Rangers, 380 runs, are plus 72. That is, they're not the Cubs at plus 113, but the Cubs have also given up 77 more runs. Right. And the Cubs
Which winds up being the difference. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it winds up being the difference between, a team that can, you think about last year, you think about the playoff series last year, not just with the Cubs, but just in the Major League Baseball playoffs. And it winds up being, it's 3 pitches here, 1 swing there. Like, the margin is just not nearly as big in the postseason as it is in the regular season. And I think that, unfortunately, I think that the Cubs front office gambling with making the playoffs is a much bigger risk than the Astros bringing back Correa and checking on his health. Like, any of these other squads, the Merrill Kelly deal, the Merrill
Kelly deal.
It's just a massive risk to do nothing and expect this team to go to the playoffs and win a series. Like, I don't know how you do that. And I sit here and I know you're annoyed by it today and frustrated, which I totally get, but I'm just like, dude, like, I can't say that I'm really that surprised by what this front office doesn't do, because the building's packed, the place is a palace, like nobody's criticizing them, and they're just making money. And I hate it. I wish that front offices, this is what I was saying yesterday about a salary cap floor. Like a salary floor. Like I wish that the way teams were run was with the best of intent. Just like with anything else in life. I wish that it was like, hey, this is the max you can profit and you have to spend the rest. But unfortunately, that's just not the world we live in. So here we are.
Yeah, and I think that's very well said. Shout out to Red Sauna Buckeye for giving us a retweet on X. Keller Lone Snipes, thank you. Matthew Davis, hello. Our guy Steely Matt, 79 Steely Matt, thank you. Dan Meyer, thank you. Repo Guy in the 513, thank you.
Yeah, you got a tow truck going to get that minivan.
Sean McEnany.
Jim McElwaney,
thank you. Joseph Harper, good day to be a Seattle fan. Thank you for the like. Jack Conway, who is a Detroit Tigers fan. Thank you. Really appreciate that. IS558. Thank you, Isaiah, for the retweet on X. Everybody watching on X today, please hit the retweet. It really helps the channel grow. Yanks swept the Rangers in late May. Yeah, but the problem is it's early August now.
Yeah, it's a little different now.
And we're in a different spot. I think you look at the Yankees, you expect more out of the Yankees. This Judge injury thing, you got to get that figured out. Now, they say he doesn't have, for those of you who don't know, Aaron Judge hurt his elbow. They say he does not have structural damage, but you can't put him back in the outfield until he is a full 100%. And even at that point, I don't know that you want to do that because you need his bat. Big Blue Horses, in my opinion, Tigers are built for a knockdown dogfight where opponents keep hanging around until later innings and then beat you due to mistakes. See, and the problem is, and I think you're right, the Tigers can't win games if they're close in the late innings because that bullpen is just not championship material. Big Pontiff, preach 2 holes. Salary floor so some of the cheap powder heads get out of the game. Dude.
Yeah. Sell the team to someone who gives a damn. I'd rather have Matt Ishbia than what Jed Hoyer's doing. Like, good Lord.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I am so glad. That the Ricketts family didn't get a hold of the Chelsea football club.
Because they tried.
Joseph Harper, a member for 22.
Nice.
The Minnesota Twins' next promotion. Welcome to AAA night. Wow.
At Target Field where you can get a bigger discount.
Wow. You're not wrong. I think when it comes to winners and losers, there's no doubt that the Twins and their fans took a beating today.
But hey, you still have Byron Buxton, dude. Still got Byron.
I mean, you look at Carlos Correa, Johan Duran, Griffin Jacks, Varland, Colombe, Harrison Bader, Willie Castro, Brock Stewart, Chris Paddock. I mean, at least you did not trade Joe Ryan and Byron Buxton. But Buxton said he would not be traded. He hinted he wouldn't report if they traded him. But it hurts, right? I mean, Buxton is your only star. And the problem is he doesn't play but 90 games a year, which sucks. And we're going from a team that won 100 games 5 years ago. You sign Carlos Correa, you're making a push to be elite, and that was a complete waste of time and money.
Yeah.
Because you never were. And it's what I said, like the Reds, I think the Reds are a very interesting case study as well. Because if you look at the Reds, Ke'Bryan Hayes, who probably is their biggest get, elite third baseman. Dude, he can't hit. Do you guys, his batting average on balls that he pulls, I think is 116, which tells you he does not have power. And it means he's a slap hitter. And the problem is those guys don't succeed at third base. His name is Matt Shaw with the Chicago Cubs. A rookie who can't hit. And can you count on guys like Ke'Bryan Hayes to get better at the plate? Matt Shaw get better at the plate? Shaw has shown some improvement. Is that a championship caliber third baseman? No. Defensively, the guy is unbelievable for the Cubs. Matt Shaw can't hit. And it's really frustrating. Monty, you missed my super chat. Oh, did you super chat us? I'm sorry. I don't see that you super chat us.
I think that's what he means. The green one.
Oh, your 22-month. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. The Chad Carter. Monty, I don't need any more reasons to drink. I don't want to talk about the Reds.
Yeah, it's rough, dude.
The good news is it means that Ellie De La Cruz, who just went deep. Oh, it did. He did. Ellie De La Cruz just hit a home run. 2-run bomb, 3-0 Reds. It means that Ellie De La Cruz, is he a shortstop long-term? He really struggles to catch the baseball at short. I mean, if we're being honest, he really struggles with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that he's the left side of the infield guy.
But why is he not Fernando Tatis? Because I think Fernando Tatis has done a nice job transitioning to the outfield, right?
Because shortstops don't want to transition to the outfield. They're forced to typically.
Yes. And I wonder if Ellie De La Cruz is that guy. I do. And I agree that right now, today, Chad, was not a good day for the Reds. A year from now, I think we might be having a different discussion because it's not like you're 25 back. You're 3 out. Right? I mean, that's not the end of the world. 8 minutes till NFL preseason football. Neat. I'm not your guy. MLB needs a winner's clause. Don't finish at or above 500 4 times in 10 years. Or go to the LCS World Series 1 time in 20 years, you have to sell your majority stake. Yeah, boy, wouldn't that be amazing? If you're the Chicago Cubs, how are the San Diego Padres outspending you?
It's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing. I think, and the shame of it is I actually like the Padres a lot. I like watching them. I love Petco is a gem. Like, they've got everything they need to be a winning ball club, but there's no excuse, man.
It's a small market. It is a small
But that's why they're lovable. That's why people like the Padres, because it is a small market. It is the little brother to LA. That's the deal.
Chad, thanks for the comment and the like on X. I don't know what we did or who we bribed, but the fact that we're at 109,000 viewers on X right now.
It's wild.
You got 109,000 people are watching our show on the X platform right now. That's crazy.
Like, couple more donations as well.
So we do. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
Yes. Advocates donations. Let's see. Maury comes in with number 2 for Cue Ball Wolf, who spots his players doing squats and always asks short people to stand up every time.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wow. Syracuse's biggest fan, James.
Horny James.
Monty, breaking news. Jim Harbaugh was seen on a kiss cam with Teresa Gould. Both have been forced to eat a Limburger sandwich as punishment.
See, here's the deal. That just doesn't work, brother. That just, I'm not trying to hate, but that I don't find that super funny. Sorry. Appreciate the donation, though.
Roger Goodell.
Appreciate
the donation. Roger Goodell says that he went to the funeral for the New York City police officer. He said that on NBC. And he's getting pounded on social media for it.
Why?
Because people are saying that he's trying to make light of what he did. That going there was some badge of honor. Can we just let a guy go to a funeral without jumping on top of him?
Apparently not.
Chad Carter, those X views are all my bots since they can't mine Bitcoin anymore.
Well,
bro, I read another article today Do you guys know that we don't currently have enough infrastructure for electrical power in the country to sustain AI and crypto mining? Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, because it's profitable and everyone's doing it.
We don't have the electrical infrastructure. We probably are 5 years away from losing electrical ability on the current level that we have it. Because we need to lay 1 billion miles of high voltage cable
Length and girth.
in the next 5 years. And we currently are less than 1 million miles a year
A lot.
of new voltage cable.
No, there's nothing to worry about there. Nothing to see there. No big deal.
I mean, it is unbelievable how much assets crypto and AI are taking right now. We need to upscale our high voltage lines by 1 billion times a year. And they estimate that would take between 14 and 17 years to do that. And we have 5 years to create that much bandwidth. And so now all of the crypto and AI folks are like, oh, well, we're switching to natural gas. Look how cheap natural gas is. I think natural gas is what, $2.97 or something? If you switch to natural gas, you know what I'm going to say. You would have to improve the natural gas system so significantly that it doesn't currently exist in technology. That means you'd have to lay new pipeline that has higher capacity than any pipeline we currently run for natural gas. And we don't have that capability right now. That's how much drag crypto and AI is taking. And I think AI is vitally important. I think crypto, to me, I still think is very unknown. I think you're seeing a lot of fly-by-night crypto take a lot of people's money.
Mm-hmm.
AI, you got to lean in or you're out. Very simple. Chad Carter. I was in a meeting about that issue today, mostly with a bunch of people going, yep, that's an issue. We're fucked. And I think I don't know what you do about it. How do you uptick the installation of high voltage lines by 1 billion times?
You don't.
Like I was watching Fox Business about this. Currently, that much high voltage cable doesn't even exist on the planet. And one of the things they're concerned about, here's the ultimate irony. I almost undersold the lead. You know what they're concerned about making that much high voltage cable? The resources it would take to make that much high voltage.
A lot.
We're not in a good place with AI and crypto mining right now. It's going to be very interesting. Pay attention to it. Rip crypto. I think we'll always have crypto. I just hope people stop getting ripped off with it.
Yeah.
It really is troubling. Glenn, what was the name of the NBC series where the power went out? I don't remember. Woof, laying pipe, count me in.
Yeah.
You got to get stroked.
Honestly.
Gumby says, just download more RAM.
Yeah.
Put more RAM in that computer.
Yeah.
You start charging a boatload for use of AI tools, which will impact adoptability, or that's it. Like there's no, or I think that's correct. I think AI is going to get very expensive. And one of the big concerns about AI is who controls it and who really influences it the most. And what happens when it gets really expensive? Well, you and I can't afford it. So corporate America and the billionaires, they're the ones who will be able to afford to leverage AI. So there needs to be something. We need solar on every house to reduce stress on the grid. Well, the problem is our current administration doesn't believe that. Our current administration doesn't want to use alternative energy in any way, shape, or form. But there's this fight going back and forth because he's drill, baby, drill. We're not drilling at all. Like, do you guys, you have lives. My bad. Do you guys know how little we are drilling right now? Go and look at the numbers of, just Google search. I think it's how much are we drilling? How much are we drilling? And I think that's the one that spits out the infographic. The U.S. is currently drilling for oil and gas at a high rate, producing more than any other country. While the exact amount fluctuates, domestic production is expected to average 13.5 million barrels a day. Okay, that's Grok telling you that, and Google telling you that. All right. Well, what is the let me just look. Full report. U.S. All right. So what is in Texas, right? You look at the reports, it's all down. In Texas right now, legacy oil production change down huge. Like it is bizarre to me that we report something and it's just not true. Like there are no new rigs. Like the first thing you see inside Climate News, Trump promised a drilling boom. The new rigs haven't showed up. We're down to 9 rigs on the Gulf of Mexico. Right? Isn't that crazy? Like, yeah. So we're in this place where do we want natural gas? Do we want to go full electric? Because we're phasing out coal for power, right? Like you've got to figure out what can you do quickly, and how do you feed the power for AI, right? Like that's the thing. Oh, there's Eric. Monty going TDS. So what does TDS mean? I don't know what that means. I'm assuming you're upset because you're worried about something I said. Like you're the only guy on this show who can't have like a logical conversation about where we're at. Mm-hmm. Anybody that's arguing that we're in a good place energy-wise just doesn't know what's happening. The power that's being taken by crypto mining and AI is a real problem. Let's get some more nuclear plants. Nuclear, there you go. All right, the Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Big change coming to the show Monday. Make sure you're here. You don't want to miss that. You get in an accident this weekend, make sure you get to The Advocates at theadvocates.com, where you never reach into your pocket. You never pay a penny because you don't pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. At theadvocates.com. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.